Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the second day of FTX Road to Miami. This is Sagar Shah and welcoming you to the second day. Right now, the tournament stands very interestingly. As you can see here, it's Arjun versus Radoslav Wojtaszek. And the standings of the tournament look something like this. Arjun currently on number 7 position. He has to finish in top 8 to qualify to the knockouts. We have Jeffrey Xiong, who is on number 1 position, and a big surprise is Radjabov is on the last position here with 1 point only, and Anish Giri is on the third last position. So it's a very tough event, but at the same time it's a very long event as well. There are going to be 15 rounds, and so a lot to play for. And a warm welcome to everyone in the chat. So let's get it rolling. Arjun playing with the white pieces against Wojtaszek. Wojtaszek is a great strong Polish player, and this is how the opening began. E4 was played. Yeah, E4, C5, knight F3, D6, D4, CD4, knight D4, knight F6, knight C3, A6. This is known as the, guys, what's the name of this opening? Yeah, Naidorf, exactly. Real Sagar Shah, Som, Peri Pratham, Gandhar Derekar, Maharishi Ray. This is known as the Naidorf, bishop e3. He goes for the move e5, hitting the knight, and now Arjun plays knight f3. Generally, all these youngsters, they are very much in tune with what is happening with top level chess. And this is a move that was played in the candidates. And guys, do you know who was the white player who played this move a lot in the candidates? Anyone? Who was the white player who played this a lot at the candidates? Sure, I have this right. Yes, Hikaru Nakamura. Exactly. Hikaru Nakamura played this move a lot, putting his knight on f3, not on b3. Queen to c7, stopping bishop c4, a4, bishop e7, bishop e2, bishop e6, castles, knight bd7, and now comes the move a5 here. Short castles here, and now knight to d5 played by Arjun. So he is attacking the bishop on e7, so there is no time to take the pawn on e4. Takes, pawn takes, the bishop is attacked. You play your bishop. Oh, he goes to g4. He could have also played his bishop to f5, but then white goes for the move c4, and white has a very powerful queenside majority here. So that's the reason why bishop g4, c4, and now guys, Wojtaszek goes for the play on the king side, which makes the game very exciting because he plays the pawn to f5. Now, if you look at this position carefully, both sides have a clear plan. What should be white's next move here in order to further his plan in the position, guys? What should be white's next move? Yeah, absolutely correct. Here, the next move that would be very strong. Just a second, let me make sure I have the right board. Yes, b4 is the correct move here. and that would be a very strong move, because while black is playing on the king side, white is trying to break on the queen side. So Akash, Chandan Nagar, Mayank, Real, Sagar Shah, DJ Fiery Chess, Abhay Man, Rishi Kumar, Small Channel, Priti Debaje, and Shashank Ashwath. Your idea is to play b4, and then later on, if you can get the c5 break in or b5, you can try those. And so now after f5, Arjun is still thinking for his move, what to play here, and let's see what he comes up with. Right now, also the other interesting games that are going on are Anish Giri versus Temur Radjabov. So let's try and get them on the screen. There we have Anish Giri here and also Radjabov, and I think Anish would be looking to get his first win. I think he's won one game still in this event, or not yet. Anish has No, he has 3 draws and 1 loss. So he's looking for his first win, and maybe he gets it against Temur Radjabov. It was a Catalan. And Anish was very well prepared. He was a pawn up. He's a pawn up here, but I mean, Radjabov has kind of sacrificed it for compensation. Clearly, you can't take this pawn back, guys, because of what's the move that does not allow Radjabov to pick up the b2 pawn. What's the Absolutely right. Rook to b1 is the correct move, and the right answer is given by Supercom, Maharishi Ray, Bontu Manideep, Chandan Nagar, Samya Chakrabarti, Kamal Vijayram, Abhay Man, Real Sagar Shah, Prashant Tiwari, and Ishu Bhushan. And now the b8 rook is hanging. So that's the reason why here queen takes b2 is not possible. He played bishop f8, then h4, queen a5. He put his rook on d2, defending this, and now comes the real mistake here with knight to b3. And with this, Anish moves his rook into the position, and Radjabov goes rook to d8. He needs to get rid of this rook, because otherwise the f7 point is very soft and it can start a very big attack. So he went rook d8, and now white to play. What should white play here? Yeah, this is similar to actually a lot of the lines that Radjabov plays against these top players. He has kind of mastered this with black, but today he went wrong. And yes, rook a7 is one possibility, which is very correct. But also possible is rook b7 hitting this. And now imagine that I go here and you go and attack the rook. Then in comes a very powerful move, guys. What is the move here? Come on. This is something that, where do you move your rook is the question now. Where do you move your rook? Your rook is attacked. You have to defend it. Well, most of the people I was able to fool, but not some. When I said, where do you move the rook? Everyone was like, oh, where to move the rook? And they went rook b5. But it doesn't end the game after queen c7. Black is still fighting. The right move was b4. And a huge congratulations to SB Advertising, Supercom, Chandan Nagar, Swastik, Vinayak, Magnus Effect, Beloglavi Soup, Shashank, Chess is More Than Fun, and Giridhar. You guys were very alert, because you realized that actually a pawn move forking these two pieces is the right answer. I'm sorry for all the people whom I kind of misguided there slightly. But very surprising in Arjun's game that he did not go for b4 here. He in fact went for rook to a3. And I think Arjun somewhere did not like b4 for some reason. I don't know what was the reason. Maybe he did not like it because of e4 and f4. But I don't think that's coming in. Because e4, knight d4, already e6 is weak. f4, bishop d2. Maybe e4 is what he might have not liked. Knight d4 and then f3. It's getting a bit, how do you say, murky here, because after take, the king is a bit exposed and it doesn't seem like this position is very clear. So that's the reason why it could be very much possible that Arjun wants to go rook a4. And now if you play f4, then he can go maybe bishop d2 or bishop c1. And if now e4, then after knight d4, the rook is well positioned here to defend everything. So that is what might be Arjun's plan, but it still does not mean that you can go for the move. I mean, black can still play f3 in this position, but first Wojciech builds up the position by bringing his rook in the center with rook a to e8 played here. Arjun very relaxed, calm there, looking and look at Wojciech, yeah, beautiful camera for him, very high quality. Yes, Shashank, Arjun's plan has to be to get his knight here, but how does he get it? Because after e4, let's say e4, knight d4, f4, there is no time, yeah, knight e6, you can take it back, and then e3 is hanging. So you have to time it well. It's not easy to get there. Anant Narayanan says, Sagar bhai, I'm losing hair too. Any tips? You see, from chess tips, people have now come to hair loss tips. What a nice evolution here that has happened on this channel for me. But I think the best tip that I can give you is to be okay with the hair loss if you don't want to work too hard on it. If you want to work too hard, then maybe you can think of many different products that work. So b4 played by Arjun now. Arjun says, look, my rook is doing well here. Now it's well positioned. So let me just push the pawn to b4. It's like saying, Sagar, I am stuck at 2400. How to reach 2500 ELO in chess? So, that is where I am. So maybe asking such questions not a good idea to me. Oh, look at this. Look at this. After b4, here he took. And his point was, if you take with the bishop, he might have wanted to pick up this free pawn. But Arjun is like, I'm very happy with this now. Very interesting, because of two reasons. First of all, he gets bishop pair. Second of all, his king now becomes safer. And it might seem very anti-intuitive for you that, oh, how can his king get safer when it's, this file has opened up? Well, that's because after f4, there is no e4 coming in. The pawn defends this square. So all in all, it's not so easy to attack. And I think visually, even a player as good as Wojciech seems to have fallen for this. And he's like, oh, now my position looks great. Let me try to attack. But I think practically speaking, Arjun is looking very good now. Okay, one question I have, for example, let's say you play the move bishop f6, okay? I mean, it looks like a move. And then let's say white goes queen c2, hitting here. Yeah, I don't like this move, bishop f6. Let's say f4, bishop d2. Now, all in all, what white has done is that he's going to put his bishop on d3. Later on, he's going to try for the breakthrough on c5 or b5. So, in a way, for black to attack is not so easy. Yes, f4 could also be an idea at some point for sure, but we will see how Arjun takes this forward. Beloglavi says, can we go knight f6 here? Well, if you play knight f6, then sometimes this b6 square becomes weak and the bishop can settle in here. And even after you go here, I think white is very quick with the move c5. And one of the major points is that after takes, you cannot win this pawn here because of two pins. You can choose which pin you want, bishop c4, this pin here, or rook d3, this pin here. You know, but Wojciech, look at him, how he's playing this. He's like, look, I am a top player, I know that. And so I of course understood that this is strategically dangerous, not just for Arjun but also for me. And so I'm sacrificing a pawn here. After fe4, he is going to play on the dark squares with his knight jumping to e5. He's now attacking the c4 pawn and his knight is very well positioned on the e5 square. Very interesting pawn sack, and I would say practically an excellent try here by Wojciech. But what do you play now? Like, I first move that comes to my mind is bishop g4, trying to go here, but then I lose the c4 pawn, so I don't want to lose that pawn. But again, I also do not want the pawn to come to f3. So actually, if Arjun tries to play f3 here to defend this, then maybe he can capture on c4. And if rook c3, then there is a very cool move here for black to save his position. And what is that? Guys, try to think black to play. Black to move. What is the cool move in this position? It's not easy. It's not easy, but I guess you can find it. No, you can't play knight e3 here, guys. Knight e3 would be a big mistake because of rook c7, knight d1, rook d1. You are a piece down. So knight e3 definitely does not work. The move that does work here and very well is the move b5, and fantastic job done by Vikas, Prashant, Kamal, Vijay, Ram, Ajay Kumar, Naman Wadhwa being brilliant at chess, Abhay Man, Mista Dam, Real Sagar Shah, Anshul Nanwani, Sagar Chess Ambarnath. Well done, guys. So this is the move here, b5, and if I take ab6 or passant, then queen b6 with a check to the king. So that was his plan. So f3 has been played, and now I don't know if Wojciech, what is he going to do? Is he going to take it? It is easy to miss this. I mean, f3 is the most human way to play this position. Knight c4, you might be a little bit afraid of rook c3. Yeah, he takes it. He spots it that b5 is possible. He gets back the pawn, and now black looks pretty okay. Meanwhile, going back to Radjabov versus Anish Giri game, after rook b7 attacked the knight, yes, knight d4 was played, queen to f4, f5, queen g5, rook c8. I mean, Radjabov is just completely out of form here. Knight to b5, and I think he might well resign. Let's have a look at how Radjabov is thinking here. You can see Anish Giri very, very confident. He has sacrificed a piece here because after take, then in comes check, king here, and he has spotted something in this position which Radjabov had not seen. And the move is, these two pieces are not really well positioned. There are many, many ways to win here, but bishop d5 with the idea of checkmate looks very powerful. Even if you move your bishop away, here, then there are many ways to win again here. But maybe the most powerful is to sack your rook, king takes, and it's one of those cases where your pieces are so badly positioned you can't go to h8 because of queen f6 mate, and if you go here, check, king here, and mate. So that is what is going to transpire perhaps here. Anish Giri very focused here. Radjabov has 8 minutes on the clock, but a totally losing position on hand here. Believer, yes, there will be a live stream of Vidit versus Anish. That is there. Oh, by the way, Radjabov has resigned there, and Anish Giri is very happy with his first win after knight b5. Radjabov is quite sad naturally. He has lost almost all his games. He leaves the chair, and Anish scores his first win of the tournament at the cost of Raja. Okay, going back to the game of Arjun Erigesi. Arjun, after rook c3, b5 was played, and Arjun is like, I'm not going for en passant business. I'm just playing king h1 here. And then came the move bishop. No, first rook c8 was played. Now Arjun went for rook to g1. He's using his rook down the open file here. Bishop f6, good move. Rook c2, and all of a sudden, if you see, black has got quite comfortable in the position. So actually, what I really liked about Wojciech's play is not the fact that here Arjun already has a nice position, but this pawn sacrifice which was played with e4 was very cool. And knight e5, Arjun had to somehow sort of give up this pawn with f3, but he could have kept that pawn in the position, but then black would have played f3, and then he would have to defend like an engine, which is very difficult. So he played the most human move f3, but that allowed his opponent to cement the position, and now it seems like it is easier to play as black with this nice knight and the bishop. But Arjun, now looking at the c4 knight, he has put some 3 pressures on it, which is quite dangerous here. Rook f7 is played. And now need to decide on how to continue here. After rook f7, Arjun, how does he play? So rook f7, bishop c4, b takes c4, and now Arjun goes bd2. Rakshit says all of Arjun's games have reached very imbalanced position. Is it because of his playing style, or is it because he doesn't play the main lines? I think mainly it has to do with his playing style. Arjun takes risks, and that is exactly what I'm also seeing in his games, that he likes to, get into positions where he has chances of losing, and also he gives chances for his opponents to go wrong. And this is a very dangerous way to play, but I think it is also a high risk, high reward kind of a thing. And he's been doing it pretty well until now. Let's see how this continues, because see, again, if he gets bishop c3 and takes, then c4 is weak, also b4 is weak. Then who is better, we cannot be sure. So Wojtaszek has to decide as to what to do. Should he push his pawn to c3? But then he's not really attacking this bishop because the queen is hanging, and queen takes a6 could be a possibility there. Oh, Jack. Sagar, you need to check out VD's game, says Jack Murphy from Chess Global Championship today. He came first, won the tournament, and in the final game, he sacrificed an entire piece, pretty much the opening. Wow. Okay, sure. We should look at that. Maybe who was his opponent in the final round? And that is a very good news that Vidit played so well and has won the tournament. So bishop d2, and now Wojtaszek is thinking he's down to 2 minutes 30 seconds, and this is one more thing about Arjun, that he plays pretty quickly here, and he's not really getting under time pressure. Okay, so bishop d2 played, and now how does white continue is the question. Black continue. I mean, Wojtaszek is now down to 1.5 minutes. What is he doing? BD4 says Anurag Vita. Yeah, Rook G2 maybe that seems good, but he's not really certain about what to do. He plays BD4, and now Rook G2 very quickly played by Arjun. You see, he was ready with his moves, and these are the little things which really irritate your opponent and can get you the win that is needed, because your opponent suddenly starts getting really worried. It's not only about the engine evaluation or the position, it's also about the fact that, oh my god, I have such little time on the clock, I have only 1 minute left, and I really need to speed up. So you can see Wojtaszek there, he is worried. You can see his face. He knows he has less than a minute while Arjun has 5 minutes, and suddenly the way forward is not clear, and then a mistake could happen very very soon. He plays his pawn to c3, and now the point of it is that maybe this move may or may not work. I'm not sure. Can this work? Oof, maybe it does. Look at this, guys. If this, and if c takes d2, what is the winning move for white? Guys, you can see it. What is the winning move here for white? Absolutely right. You guys have hit the nail on the head. Queen c8 is correct. And this is where Mistadam, Real Sagar Shah, Pranshu Gupta, World of Wit, Sasta Cantona, Pranit Malhotra, Prahlad Sen, Morningstar, Chess Codes, Soumyadeep Bhattacharya. Well done, all of you. So Queen takes c8 is the correct move. c3, oh, he takes it, and now his opponent here, instead of moving the queen, he went queen b7. Wow, now this is where Arjun might get his chance, but how do you continue? Take. Okay, if I take on b7, rook takes on b7, can I take the pawn on f4? He'll take on b4, then there is rook b1 threat. Okay, just to show you guys what I'm just babbling here. Takes, bishop f4, rook takes b4. There is a threat of a checkmate here, but actually it's not a checkmate because rook can come back. But still, I think it makes sense to just make a back rank Luft, and now the d6 pawn is under pressure. So let's see what happens next after queen b7. I think Arjun will take his time, but I don't see another move apart from taking the queen. I don't know what Arjun is thinking here. Is there any other move that you guys can think of? Maybe queen d3 is another idea that can be played, and then after c takes d2, I can take c8, queen c8, queen d4. No, he takes, yeah. And now bishop f4 has been played, rook b4 has happened, h4 happened. You can see Arjun was not just calculating that move, but also a couple of next moves that he can play. And Wojciech, by the way, has managed his time well now, but already he has landed in a difficult position because he now has two pawns here. I mean, he's a pawn down in this. Okay, a5 might be lost, but d6 is also hanging. So it's not so trivial for him to defend this. And as we can see, once again, Arjun playing chess in such a sharp style that even the strongest of players are going wrong against him. Flying Marvel says, do you think Arjun has a chance of playing on top board at the Olympiad? I'm not sure if they could make it as a strategy. That could be an idea. By the way, he's attacked this pawn and now Arjun can take this, but I think knowing Arjun and the way he likes to maximize his chances, he might go rook a2. But for rook a2, you must know what you are going to do to rook b2, because that is an important move here, rook b2. And I think you don't need to do much because the pawn is not moving forward. And you can just maybe improve your position a bit with king h2 or even go up with rook a4. So rook a8 played here. And now Arjun, I mean, a very easy way to play is take here, but then he would give a check, king h2 and rook takes a5 when you have lost this pawn. So maybe, this is a moment where you want to milk the maximum from your advantage. And this is where Arjun is thinking. You can see he's taking his time. He has his fists clenched there. He is thinking about what move he should make. But I have a feeling that he is going to move his rook to a2. It's all about maximizing your possibilities here. A draw is in the grasp here for Arjun. I mean, most likely the position is equal, but after rook a2 he will have some realistic chances of playing for a win. But also after rook a2, the question is, what about rook a6, where I defend this d6 pawn and also keep an eye here, threatening rook b5 to win this. It is definitely something to think about. Also, an attack could be launched with h5 h6. But Arjun now coming down to 1 minute 24 seconds. There is hardly any time left for him as well. What do you think will he play? Thinking. Come on, come on, come on. 58, 55. He must be not liking something in the rook a2 line. What is it? Not sure. Not sure. No, he goes for this line with bishop d6 and then rook b1, and that seems to give his opponent at least good drawing chances now after bishop f4. I think black has better drawing chances than rook a2. King f7 played there. And now what next? He's played his king to f7. But how does Arjun now play? He wants to push his pawns forward, but it's not so easy. So he goes king h3. What's the point of king h3? Maybe he wants to activate his king. He likes his structure here. If you look at it, guys, Arjun is a pawn up. He has definite chances here, but the c4, c3 pawn is very strong. I think a very good move for black would be h5, just stopping the king here. But now both players down to last 30 seconds. The increment is around 10 seconds. Is 10 seconds here. So, oh, he goes rook a1. Okay. Can we go king g4 or it's too risky? I think it's a bit too risky here. e5 pushed. Pawn is pushed to e5. And where does I think rook e1 is possible to attack the e5 pawn. Oh, he goes rook b2, and this gives Arjun another chance. He pushes his pawn to e6, king e7. You want to play d6, but then this is hanging. Hey, but can we go rook e2? Rook e2 with the idea of d6 is met with rook takes c2, d6, king f6, and then you lose. So lose the e6 pawn. So very good move here is rook ce2. Arjun has 20 seconds. Can he find it? Rook ce2 with the idea of this, because after take, d6 is unstoppable kind of. Even if you play bishop c5, I have d6. Arjun is down to 7 seconds. He has only 7 seconds on the clock. You can see him. Oh, he plays the other rook there. Rook ce2 was needed, and now I think this should be drawable for black once again. Rook takes c2. Getting the... Oh, he checks. Oh, he goes d7. Oh my god, look at this. How is he playing? And guys, check here is the only move. Arjun has found such a tricky way of playing. My god, look at Wojtaszek there. Guys, this is some insane bit of calculation, because now queen is coming up. He gives a check, good move, because if king g2, you can take this with a check at the very least. So king g2, rook takes e2, king here and bishop b6. That seems to be winning for black. So Arjun rightly plays his king to g4, and now you must play rook g1 check. I think he will find it. It's the only move. With 15 seconds left on the clock, Wojtaszek has to find rook g1 check. Oh, he goes h5. This is incorrect, because now Arjun can take. But Arjun, if he takes g6, king back, now rook g1. Okay, he just lost a pawn. So that's good for Arjun. Now Arjun must take, right? What else does he do? He can go king g3. He takes the pawn. Which is a good move. Now Wojtaszek will play g6. Otherwise, guys, this pawn is queening. And if you go back with your king there, bishop d6 is a killer move. If you take queen, if you go back e7, e8 queen. So that's how strong these two pawns are. King comes, he goes g6, king g4, rook g1 has been played. It's a check. Now king h3 or bishop g3. Where do you go? Because if you go king h3, there is rook h1 again. So he blocks with his bishop. The sad part is that white has lost. Black unnecessarily gave up a pawn with h5. But does that matter? How important is the h5 pawn? A lot, it seems, for the engines. Now you can't take here because queen check. So how about bishop b6? But then I can push e7 and I'm making a queen here. Oh, this happened. He played e7. What a game by Arjun Erigesi. Getting both his pieces here and now threatening a mate in one here. Arjun must find the next move. Makes a knight. Makes a knight. This is hanging. What a game. Under promotion. Take knight c7. Make another knight or what? Play. Oh, take and make a queen. Rook d2 takes queen and then use your knight and queen to checkmate your opponent. My god, what a game by Arjun. Oh, he goes knight to b5. Arjun, very calm, yeah, very calm here. He couldn't find a mate with the queen and knight there. So he thought, well, let me just pick up this pawn. Because if you take on e2, I can queen. And if you take on d7, then knight c3 and this is a trivial win for white. So Arjun actually is winning this now. Clearly winning. Takes. Now knight c3. Okay, this is done. This is done. This is easy. Knight e4. Yeah, knight e4 is game over. And you can see Wojciech, he knows he's just messed it up there. He was actually holding it quite well. But guys, this is what you can see. Arjun goes to the brink of defeat so that he can win. You know, wins don't come easily in chess. You have to risk it. And you have to have confidence on yourself, which is exactly what Arjun shows in his games. And yes, he loses sometimes, but he also wins beautiful games like this one. King f4. No, this game was unbelievable, guys. We need to go back and check a few lines because Black did have a defense there which was very tough to be found under a minute, but Arjun found so many good moves. So many good moves. Soumya Ghosh says, जीतने दो अभी धक धक हो रहा है. I think this should not be tough. This should not be tough. I mean, everything is defending everything. You have two pieces for a rook plus an extra pawn. That is already a lot. Yeah, maybe some technical difficulties to win, but you can play around a bit and then figure a way out, gain some time, give some checks with your rook, give some checks here and there. Yeah, first rook a6, attacking this pawn. From Arjun's face, you can never even realize whether he's winning or losing, no? He's just so calm. He's so calm. Okay, knight g5. And I think one threat is a check here. If you go to h6, there is mate. And another threat is check, king here, and this is mate. So there are two ways to mate. Check, king comes back to h3. It might seem like you are moving backwards in this position, but in a way you are just reorganizing things. And now the rook is hanging, so rook moves away. And maybe now a good idea is to check with your bishop. And once the bishop, knight, bishop, knight and rook coordinate, Arjun's going to win this. Once again, Arjun calculating, gives a check. Good move. Good move there. Okay, careful here. You are losing your h pawn. He goes here. Now if rook h4, he look at Arjun. He's very calmly sitting there. I think he's seen that if you take here, then knight f7 check. King here mate. King here mate. Anyway mate. So By the way, this was a very cool idea, because if you went rook a7, then after rook takes h4, knight f7 is not an instant mate, but rook a8 was classy. And look at Arjun, yeah, like he's now sitting back in his chair. Sanket Joshi says, what a game by Arjun, kal ek video dal do ispe. For sure, for sure. Oh, rook g4, what is he trying? Some kind of a stalemate or what? Oof. Oof. Mad rook incoming. No, but take. You can take. If rook g1, you can go king h3, because check, you can come back on h2. And if rook g3, bishop g3. So that should be done. Like fg4. He might give checks from here. But Arjun very calmly calculating. In such moments, you can be sure that Arjun will not go wrong. Yeah, he takes the rook. And now, of course, Wojtaszek, if he goes here, king h3 seems to be good. So he gives a check from this side. King f3, rook f2. Don't take the rook, it's a stalemate. King e4, rook e2, king d5, rook d2, and now bishop d4. So in order to take this, it's going to be, the king will get the g7 square. So the rook cannot sacrifice itself. Next move, check incoming. Wojtaszek resigns. What a finish. What a finish. What a finish here by the young Indian talent Arjun Erigesi, guys. Really, really classy. I loved how he managed to just simply outwit his opponent towards the end. It was phenomenal. Guys, I think this deserves Arjun OP in the chat. And the main thing is that in this position, it was so complicated. Like Arjun went for, so firstly, Arjun had to find the move rook c e2, but he played rook g2, and after rook c2 he played this intermediate move. And I thought, oh, if Arjun takes back the rook, then king takes e6, we will see a draw. But Arjun was like, ruko, I'm going to make a queen here, and if you go back and defend this queen, then already after bishop g5 check, king f5, rook takes c2, this pawn is queening and you will be a piece up. So that way you cannot play this. So Wojtaszek found the right move by giving a check. King went up. There was h5. This turned out to be a mistake, but I'm a bit curious as to why. You see, if you give this check, bishop g3, you even reach this position. Now if king e7, rook takes c2. Okay, and in this position, black has good drawing chances. But imagine what happened in the game. In the game, he went here, h5, took, g6, came back, check, bishop g3. And now if he had gone king e7, rook c2, then in the same position, you are a pawn down. And that's the reason why here Arjun is winning, while in the other position, it was closer to a draw. So somehow Wojtaszek couldn't assess this. There were too many variations going on. He had too little time. And so he just rushed with the move h5. And after king h5, g6, king g4, bishop g3, bishop b6, Arjun now found another gem of a move. Because if you were to take here, then king e6 already seems completely fine. So he played e7. Bishop c7 was played. Because if you play rook takes e2, I have d8 queen and white is winning this endgame. So he played bishop c7, and now I mean it was important right here to play a knight, because if you played anything else, rook g3 is a mate. Well, there was this move rook e6 here. A very tough one, because now queen with a check. But if king g7, you have to find rook g6, king h7, e8 queen, and then if he takes here your king, you made a square for it on h5. So that was another way to win, but knight is just so much more elegant. After here, he took the bishop. Rook takes, if rook takes e2 would have been played, then queen wins the game. So he went rook to d2, And now I think the easiest way to win was to make a queen here. And if black also makes a queen, then to go for queen e8 check, king g7. Okay, if king f6, I think queen f8 is a checkmate. So king g7, knight e6 check. He has two squares. If he goes to h6, there is queen h8. If he goes to h7, there is queen f7 followed by mate. So that's why he has to play king f6. And I think this is where Arjun might have not found a win and wanted to not go here, but this was perhaps the easiest after knight f4. And there are no checks to the white king, and this is a mate. So this is how things stand here. Arjun managing to win this game, and with this let's have a look at the standings as to where does he stand now. Arjun Erigesi is now moved up to 5th position with 10 points. Jeffrey Jeong also won his game. He's on 12 points. Savian on 11. So the two American youngsters at the top. We have another American youngster at the top as well in Hans Niemann. Duda is on number 3 and Arjun Erigesi. So actually 4 juniors out of top 5. Isn't that amazing? And Wei also youngster. But look at Ju Wenjun. She has won another game, it seems to me. She's beaten Richard Rapport. Wow. That is a big result. She beat Richard Rapport. Jeffrey Jeong actually beat Levon Aronian. So that's also another huge result. Samuel Savian beat Aryan Tari. So a lot of big things happening here. Priyansh Soni says, please show us Prag's ongoing game at Parachin. Okay, that's a nice idea. We'll look at it. No, this was beautiful game. I think... okay, by the way, Anish Giri won his game and is up to 9th position, while Temur Radjabov is struggling and languishing on number 16th place. But I think he might come back now in the next game. So, who is Arjun's next round opponent? It's very interesting to see. This was a fantastic game. Arjun is playing against Shankland in the next round, so we will be looking at that. But also you guys were very keen to look at the game from there are a few BL is going on, right? So BL Open, there is also Parachin where Pragnananda is playing. So let's also look at that. And BL today is, I think, chess 960, no, in BL. Does it start from today? Rapid is tomorrow. I think today is chess 960. And chess 960 is mainly to decide the color of the event. So maybe that is not... Gukesh is playing in BL. Yeah, BL is from tomorrow, the rapid event. But let's look at what Prag is doing there. Gukesh is 3.5 out of 7, says Rahul Kumar in chess 960. Anurag says very unexpected results for senior players. Sagar, your comments, please. Yeah, it seems like the players who played at the candidates seem very tired. Also, the youngsters somehow are just really liking the online format and are showing their superiority. But also it must be said that many times the youngsters start off well, but then after a point experience kicks in and then they lose crucial games. So we'll see if this carries on or not here. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the game of Pragnananda here. The next round actually will begin very shortly. So There we have Arjun already in his chair. We will also try to get... So Arjun is playing Samuel Shankland. Let's get Shankland on the screen. This is going to be a very interesting game. Both the players super focused, and Shankland knows that Arjun is a very, very tough competitor and was not going to take him lightly for sure. By the way, guys, in the pinned message and also in the description, you will find tickets to the Anish versus Vidit match. Yesterday, we were somewhere around 360 tickets. Today, we are around 380. If you want to enjoy that event, also play yourself, then do get your tickets. It would be great fun to have you all there. Oh, and a few moves have been played, and Arjun has played the dragon. My God. Wow. Oh. Oh, he's made a...
Hi.
Hi, Amruta joining in. Hello, Amruta. How are you?
Hi.
Look
I'm
at...
good. What happened to Shank?
Look at Shankland. He is so upset
Why?
because after bishop knight c6, he wanted to play bishop c4, which is the Yugoslav attack. So it started off with e4. It was the Sicilian dragon that Arjun played.
Yes.
And then castles, queen d2, knight c6. I think he just dropped his bishop to e2.
Mouse slip, you mean?
Yeah, and the main thing is that after bishop e2, this position is very comfortable for black with d5. And you can see there, Shankland is like, what did I just do? The idea of bishop c4 entirely is to stop d5. And now with bishop e2, he's just allowed black to equalize completely.
But I doubt if it is a mouse slip because mouse slip will be on d3.
But
Or,
otherwise, he wouldn't shake his head so much, right, Amruta?
Or it's a move order, something. Like
No,
bishop
no.
e2 is a line. It is a line.
Well, but not with f3, no? You either
Can
play
we,
bishop e2. So, like, let's say, for example, if you are here and you play bishop e2, castles, castles, अरे castle कर ले भाई. Castles, knight c6. This is theory. Now you don't play over f3. Here, so you played queen d2. You are all ready to long castle, and then after d5, look at Shankland. He's like, what should I do? Should I offer a draw? Because if he's not careful, the next move could be also e5.
Yeah, so he has to take on d5 right now.
No, but if you take Amruta, this is already slightly better for
Knight
black.
d5 is again forced.
Yeah. And if you take knight c6, I take back with the pawn. I have pressure here. I have pressure here. If you play bd4,
Achha.
then I play e5. So this is all theory, by the way.
Oh.
If instead of bishop on f1, there is long castle. This is theory. So let's
Okay.
say if you play here, instead of bishop e2, you went long castles.
Hey, why are they saying Raja withdrew?
Huh? Oh, Radjabov is not made his move against Xiong. So this is, I think, Jeffrey Xiong. He's not in his chair. And we can't find Temur Radjabov's camera here. So it seems like he has...
Health issue.
Yeah, health issue or just very tired, you know, Amruta. Also, Radjabov, as he mentioned on our stream, he is not feeling well.
So
overall.
yeah, health. And these tournaments are tough, yeah. You can't just it's not like if you're slightly in worse of your health, it can get worse very quickly
I agree.
due
I
to
agree.
the Okay, then what happens if he withdraws? Like
Yeah, it's
for
very,
all
very
the
complicated because other opponents, actually, he's lost against everyone except he has 1 point. So he drew against Mamedyarov. So I think Mamedyarov might be the only one who, otherwise everyone can be given 3 points.
Oh,
Or maybe Mamedyarov can be given 2 more points and then that way. By the way,
quite complicated.
Amruta,
But anyway, yeah, let's look at
Shankland
this.
has gone to play a very, very ambitious way in spite of making some kind of a slip. He could have played a little more, like long castle could have been one idea here. That could be a way to continue. But he decided that he must take on c6, pawn takes c6 and e5. And I can tell you, Amruta, that after knight d7, f4, e6, defending this and preparing c5, it looks like black's position is very comfortable. I'm going c5, I'm going d4, my bishop will come here, queen will come here.
Yes, it's surely comfortable, but again playable, because I would consider knight a4 here, and if you go c5,
No, taking means a pawn.
Oh, sorry, it's directly a pawn.
So, but knight a4, Amruta, there is a
b8.
very nice tactic which I want the people in the chat to find, and this is something which is dependent on LPDO.
अरे ऐसे हिंट्स देने में माहिर हो तुम, माहिर.
Look at our chat, very, very sharp and very quickly finding this idea, Amruta. And actually, it's very beautiful because here you take on e5, and after fe5, did you see the move?
Of course.
Queen h4 check and picking up the knight here, which was loose, guys. Very nice move. Real Sagar Shah, Rushil Shah, Abhimanyu, Rohit, Mayur, Aaron, Hema, Pratyush, Shikhar, and Shreyas Gokhale. Well done, guys.
Real Sagar Shah, आप तो GM बन जाओ.
So c5 played, Amruta, in the position.
Now maybe knight a4.
But then d4.
Bishop f2.
Bishop b7.
c3. c3 has queen a5, of course. Maybe c.
He's played your move. He's played my move.
Kind of forced.
And now let's see.
Now for c3, queen a5.
He puts his bishop on that diagonal.
So c4, then.
Well, you're already sitting on some kind of a time bomb here.
Exactly. Can you go b4, or is it too much? b4, cb4, and then really want to go c3, but queen a5 should be a problem, right? For c3. Yeah.
Yeah, I think c3, queen a5 is an issue for sure.
So b4 is another idea.
Yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move. Because now you're breaking that structure apart.
Correct.
But
what else?
I think b4 is what Sam will do.
b4, yeah?
Or he might do
a3.
b3.
What about a? b3
knight
is also
b2,
nice.
knight c4. Putting the knight there, then putting your bishop here.
b3, I'm only worried that if black goes knight b6 and gets knight d5, immediately I can't do it. Why am I forgetting about that?
b3, maybe queen c7, then I can go maybe knight b2.
Now knight b6. If you allow knight b6, knight d5, I'm not sure. The c3 and e3 super holds.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to continue, Amruta. You have this weakness where my knight is well placed. I have my knight well placed. So it's a fight. But he goes c3, Amruta. And this is a move which does allow queen a5, as you rightly pointed out, which I'm sure Arjun will play. Because, you know, even you found it, I found it. Arjun is going to find it. But queen a5, now the knight is kind of loose. So must play b3. And now
bishop c6. I mean, of course, it's not a move which I really
bishop
love
c6, cd. No, cd, there is
cd
queen.
Ko to
Queen hand.
There is one more move for black to consider, knight b6. If you take here, there is an intermezzo.
No,
You
no,
go
don't
back,
do that intermezzo
takes,
business. Piece down.
takes.
So just take back, no? Take back here. Knight b6, take back.
Yeah, my new business, the name is Intermezzo, company name. How can you tell me don't do that business? You don't even know what it is about. रो रहे हो
इतनी खुशी.
नए बिजनेस की
Oh, Amruta, he played bishop c6 here. He didn't go queen a5.
why really why
Actually, see, the thing is, if you go
there is
queen
something
a5,
which you didn't like about it then. No, not bishop c6. I'm telling you, knight b6 business is good.
this is hanging at the end of it. So,
Knight b6 देखो तो सही थोड़ा
हाँ तो
respect
अच्छा
to
था
the-
ना. It was. I told you, no, we discussed it.
We only discussed about the company. हाँ,
This
not
is
the
better
move.
for, because now this would be hanging. There is pressure here.
So so this is good.
Yeah.
Tell me why he did not play queen a5. What do you, according to you he would have not liked?
Let me read his face. I'm
Are you an astrologer? How
No,
can you
I'm-
face reader? Sorry.
I'm not like Suhani Shah or Karan Singh or anyone like that. I can't read minds, but I think for Arjun mainly it was like maybe take here, and he wants to go queen a5. But he kind of missed, I think, rook d1, because after take queen a5, you might think you are attacking here, also preventing here. But after, let's say, rook a d1, you can't take this because d7 hangs, and you can't take with the queen because after take again d7 hangs. So
And if you go knight b6, because you can take on a4.
but if you take knight b6, then I take d4, and then I have the two bishops. Your bishop is also a bit closed.
But if I cannot take on a4, because then c takes d4,
But
bishop
look at Sam. He's still so upset. He's got a good position now. He's still upset.
he's in his past right now, still. I think because of that bishop e2 or something. Kuch to. Oh yeah, he's quite a lot upset, Sagar. He just right now also he was shaking
Yeah.
his head.
Yeah.
Why? So I don't know. Maybe there's the bishop b2 line which he may have newly prepared or something, but without f3. कुछ तो ऐसा कुछ तो
अरे
देख
यार,
कुछ
मजा
तो
आता
अलग
है।
रहेगा ना. Why will he be so upset? Bishop e2 to slip.
Amruta, let's have a look at
Yes.
Richard Rapport's game against Anish Giri as well.
Got it.
Because Anish Giri just beat Radjabov in the last round, and then he comes back. I mean, he comes to this round, and his opponent plays the Zwagintsev Sicilian with
Oh.
knight a3.
Do you remember the Indian player who used to play this quite a lot?
Vinod Kumar.
Okay, then that I don't know.
Or
Shivananda.
Shivananda. Yes. Shivananda used to play this. Correct. IMBS Shivananda.
Yeah.
But look at Anish. He's like, I don't care what you're doing. Your knight would be better placed here, but you put it on the side of the board. The idea of this is Amruta
C3
C3,
knights.
D4,
Yes.
like that. But
even c4 actually.
yeah.
That is surprising. This should be comfortable for black.
Well, in your bid to play something new, you have just allowed your opponent to get a very comfortable position.
Correct.
And
F5, knight a5. Oh, this is so comfortable.
Yeah.
Like for Anish, this is very comfortable.
maybe here Anish had to go rook EB8, and then he was still much better. But he went takes, rook B8, rook A1.
You mean the rook instead of on b8, he would have captured with rook b3, and then white would have played rook a1. So the same position with black's rook on b3
Right.
is stronger.
Yeah.
Not so easy to assess, because when you consider the rook is on b3, white can't attack it.
Well,
quickly.
the main thing is that after here, take, rook A1, and bishop, maybe I can already play bishop B7, or I can even play A5. Then you take, I take, you take, and then I decide to take here. I attack your bishop.
But
I
a5
also
you can play even now. That because Your rook is on b8, and you land in the same land up in the same position.
Yeah, rook here. But then maybe
The difference is maybe he can go knight a4, and when the rook is on b3, the d3 pawn would be hanging. Knight
he
a4.
can also like knight e d1, and here Amruta after a5, if you go knight e d1, defending here, then a4, and
You can't take knight a4. That's what. Rook takes
b
d3.
yeah, d3 is hanging.
So that is the main
So in the
point.
game, if you play the same way,
Yes.
now knight e d1, this has happened, and if you play a4, then he can take this, and rook takes d3 is not there. If the rook was on b3, there.
So
So
it was an
it was a very
advantage.
subtle
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
By the way, Amruta, Shankland's expressions are quite misleading, to tell
Correct.
you the truth.
Matlab, do you think it was a plan which
No, now at this point, I don't think back then.
back then it was not a plan?
Yeah, now it's misleading in the sense that he is still upset over his mistake before, but he is now very focused. And so after take, what does Arjun do next? Arjun takes on c3, queen
Okay.
c3, and plays his knight to b6. And it seems like now Shankland is way better, like a very nice position for him because of the c5 pawn hanging. It looks bad, like a5 coming up, then queen
The double
c5.
bishop definitely looks. Only thing in the endgame which white may need to be careful about it at some point is g5 idea could. But I don't think it is going to go in an endgame so easily.
Yeah, g5 is a very common idea in such positions,
Yes,
Amrita. That's
yes.
very rightly pointed out. To break this, to break free the bishop, if you go g5, if he takes here, e5 becomes weak. If you go g5, he plays g3, then after takes, f4 could become weak.
It's exactly like when black had the pawns on c5 and d4 and we were looking at b4 idea. Similar to that. Okay. So this is again Arjun will have to keep defending.
Yeah.
And he can defend if he plays well. But looking at how
Arjun
the
is
position is
Arjun is
converted.
really a good defender. I have no doubts that he will be able to hold this game. He's very good
Why
defender.
I have a doubt for this game, Sagar, is because after bishop e2 he got d5. And then he's landing in this position.
But can you see on Arjun's face any regret? Can you see any expression of sadness, happiness, anything? His face is just like it is.
Steady.
It is. There's nothing. By the way, now I can tell you that Arjun will most likely take all this pawn. Because he will think to himself that look, if I play knight d5, that is possible. He will put queen c4, more pressure on d5. So if I move the queen, I'll still be left with weaknesses and stuff. But hey, I have a tactic. And usually whenever there is a tactic, these players never usually miss it. So I have a feeling that Arjun will take this. Guys, how many of you think Arjun will take this? Anurag says Arjun is like a famous Bollywood actor, no expressions. Which?
Ajay Devgan. No, he has to do this acting many times, no? Where he actually has to not express. No? Subtle.
See, if you are playing this position, Amruta, there are 2-3 moves that come to your mind. One is queen c7, other is queen e7, the other one is knight d5. Knight d5, you don't like queen c4, then you will lose this pawn.
Correct.
Queen e7 you might like, but then after a5, knight d5, you are anyway going to lose this pawn.
Correct. So you are saying almost knight e4 is actually forced. Knight e4. People are saying Arjun Kapoor. ठीक है. Also, he plays knight e4.
course. And now Shankland,
Shabash.
you can look at Shankland. I think he will be sad because somewhere if he had not played Rook D1 and if he would have played something else, he might have got more out of this position.
Yeah.
Or even here before Bishop F3, if he had continued with Rook D1. These are little things, but let's say for example Rook D1, Knight A4. This time now Queen A3 is better because after Queen E8, which defends this, now the Rook can come to B1, threatening Bishop B5. But with the Bishop on F3, that does not work somehow. So Rook C8, Rook FD1, Knight A4. He's played Queen A3 and Queen E8. And this has happened. And now this
Now,
Bishop,
yeah.
if it was here, then some Rook B1 ideas would have been strong.
And now maybe the C pawn can also be a little bit of a powerhouse, or not so easy still.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. Why not?
No, because this bishop may come to E4. This knight is it's not going to stay here forever. But I'm worried about this rook. थोड़ा सा बेचारा तो लग रहा है.
And the Bishop. And that's why at the right time F6 and both the pieces are then dancing. Because then they will open up.
Rook D6 now. That's what Chess Unblocked asked.
Instead of Rook C1, if you go Rook D6, then maybe just push the pawn or Queen B5. But Rook C1 makes a lot of sense, and I think Arjun should push still.
Should he? Forced na वैसे भी he's losing the pawn. Anyway, it's forced.
Can you do Queen B?
Queen B5?
Yeah.
Then Rook B1 is a tempo.
And where do I put my
Again,
queen?
E8 only move, because if you go to A6, there is Bishop B7. If you go to A5, that's a terrible pin there.
Yeah, and then this.
Yeah, so you are forced to go back, which means you've lost the move. So Rook C1, I think F6 right now. No, C4. Sorry, C4 is forced.
Played his queen to B5. He
He
makes this
did
mistake.
play Queen B5.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not a good idea.
Yeah, he's missed it. He's missed that move. Maybe what he has missed, let's try to think. Here, maybe he thought Queen C4 with the idea of attacking here. So Rook
Okay.
C1, I will take this pawn.
But G3
Yeah, and now this,
and
everything
F3
is
is
taken
not
up.
hanging. Oh, is he planning to give a piece sack?
No, and then
No,
white.
Queen F5. He can go Queen F5. Wait.
Ah. And next move takes.
Knight C3 is not happening. You have Queen C3.
Oh, he played Queen B3, misses that opportunity.
I'm surprised.
And now Queen B4. I think Arjun is back in the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which means it was somehow after Queen F4, Queen F5, it was not so easy or what?
I
didn't
think-
find it very difficult.
I
because
think
it
if
was
Sam was
forcing.
in good mood, he would have found it. But with the fact that he didn't play the opening well, he missed it.
Hmm.
No, Shankland, of course, fully focused here. But I think Amruta, if Arjun manages to play A5 and C4, he's got everything. Do you think Rook C4? Rook C4, then just take, and Knight B2. There's a fork.
Wow. Yeah, Rook C4 is not so easy.
So Rook C4 can't be played. And meanwhile, Anish Giri's game, wow, Anish has such a good position. I don't know how Anish managed to get such a strong position. F5 takes, King F1. He first made this a weakness. Now he's making this a weakness. See?
Oh, G2 B2 में चल रहा है.
Actually, a great move here, Amruta, was, guys, can you find out a great move for black? Notice the weakness in white's camp and try to find. If you manage to find this, it is very, very impressive.
It seems like it is easy. But then it can't be so easy to impress you, right?
No, it's a very, very amazing move. So,
Can I
chat
tell you the
wants to
answer?
make use of the d4 square.
Yeah, me too.
How do you?
Bishop d4.
Yeah, everyone's saying bishop d4. That's a very good move. It's the second best move.
You're not
here.
impressed?
No.
Oh no, guys, क्या कर रहे हो?
The move here is knight b8. My knight is coming here and then here.
ये तो you'd be तो very scared कि if you play knight b8, we can never impress you.
No, because take. If you go knight g5, I'll go knight c6, and the knight is coming here, and knight is very well placed.
Amazing, amazing.
Meanwhile,
But weakness कौन सा था, by the way?
d4 square.
That is a weakness. Okay, you're saying that. Interesting. Actually, his clue was not so easy, guys. Today he was able to trick you.
So queen b4, cb4, rook dc7 was played, Amruta. Here. And I think...
Can you now take and go rook c8, rook takes a7 ko there is...
No, there's bishop takes b6 here after rook c8.
Oh, blunder.
And then your rook is hanging.
Get it.
So actually, after take, Amruta, the biggest problem here for black is that his knight and two pawns are too weak under the onslaught of the two bishops and the rook.
So go knight d5. Can you give a pawn sack?
But then I take...
ed, rook a7 or bishop a7.
Yeah.
Rook a8.
But this is defended, no? So I can get my king now.
Yeah.
So
G5, 1 second. G5, G3.
Yeah, it's playable, but
yes.
He takes, and now it's not
so how
easy
to
for
defend?
Arjun.
1 second. How to defend?
You need to activate your things.
1 second. Let us find. Because I think it's important to find this move here. There is something, no, Sagar?
No, it's not a move. It's like a series of moves now. It's not so simple.
Knight c8, bishop a7, knight a7, rook a7, and rook b8. Was it opposite colored bishop?
He played the move you suggested.
But Sagar, that opposite colored bishop, was that the best way to continue?
Which one?
Knight c8. Oh, but you will go bishop b7.
I can also go bishop c5. Yeah, that's not good. So knight a4.
Now
and after rook a7, very nice move, rook c8, threatening a check here, and you might lose the bishop there. So let's say you make square with h4, and then I go knight c3, and I think I'm back in the game because after bishop f8, this pawn is defended and it's equal.
Nice.
So
then one more question is, in this position, why not rook d8? You don't have rook d1 check. It's guarded. Okay. Knight a4 was tough. Yes. That's what
so knight d5, bishop d5, ed5 has happened. And now maybe bishop takes a7 and white is slightly better.
Just slight better, yeah? This position, which we were looking at.
Oh, he was bishop c5. And now he went rook b8.
So rook takes a7, you want to go?
Or why not bishop a7, hit the rook?
I can't leave the last rank.
Yeah.
Because it would be...
And also, Amruta, the thing is that after bishop a7, if you go rook a8, we already seen that white
king
is
F2.
better after bringing his king in the center with king f2, king here, king here.
Correct. But there's one more thing. For bishop a7, is it possible that I go rook b5? If you go check, bishop f8, you don't have bishop c5 because of rook c5. Maybe you will go bishop b8. Oops. No, there is 1 second.
Something better.
Yes, but also have to find for bishop b8 something better. Bishop e3 f5. No, bishop e3 with the idea of. Oh, you are only going to play
No.
f5, yeah?
Bishop e3, I can go king g7.
Got it. So what is the move here?
I mean, king g7 is how you will unravel. So bd4, stopping that.
Oh, nice.
Prophylaxis.
But you don't have a threat, just prophylaxis.
By the way, bishop a7 has been played, and Arjun needs to be careful now.
Yeah. Also, we missed seeing that variation because after rook b5, one more thing was rook c8 check, bishop c8, bishop f8, bishop b8. What is it that black can do? Just king g7, and there is no more bishop d6 idea. So this is simple. Which award to winners? Bruton pawn structure. Why I don't remember. Sorry, Jack Sparrow, I don't remember. Okay, going to the game. He played rook 8, Arjun played rook 8 and king f2, and we are going into the same position which here we saw g5, g3 and white is okay. Oh, he plays f6. This is positionally a very problematic situation for Arjun. White should play. Do you want to take or do you want to push or do you want to just defend? Guys, what would you want to do here? Of course, e6. He played.
What happened? Arjun lost?
Yeah. I mean, no, he didn't lose, but bishop e7, he played rook a8 and king f to go f6 was definitely a very bad move. e6, f5. But somehow this bishop wanted to free itself. Nightbot says, push karo, khush raho. How does Nightbot understand this? Pawn Pushing Industries Private Limited. Nightbot, kya hi ho tum? I think.
No, but Amruta, at the cost of freeing itself, it has jeopardized the entire team.
Correct, because I think white has got one extra piece like force in a way. This is a force now.
And I can't believe that, I want to see how Shankland feels because.
Oh, rook a7 incoming, everyone's saying here. Actually. e6 ko f5 khela na. e6, f5. Now king e3. Yeah, because the threat was rook a7.
Oh,
nice, guys.
Sharp. Sharp shooters.
Nice.
But Amruta, how to win this position? I know how to win. Patience.
Oh, blunder.
Shankland.
वो इतना stress में दिख रहा है. Can you see him? Why is he so stressed?
But why did he?
Oh, look at him. He realized.
No, he didn't realize.
Of course he realized.
Look at Arjun. Arjun, you are losing. Now you are draw. Any problem?
It's amazing. No, his opponents can never guess. Like in online. One question is e7 was a blunder, but why? And so
why? Because of king f7. And here.
Yeah, I mean, how could white have progressed?
Just rook b7, bishop c5, pick up this pawn, stay calm. I mean, you have
bishop
all.
c5, rook a2 will come.
No, you can't
king
play
f8
that.
now. Okay.
There's a mating attack. Rook check, king g7, bishop f8. Sorry, king g7, bishop f8. With this.
So h6, black भी थोड़ी ना शांत बैठेगा.
ठीक है, if you want to play h5, I can now play check.
अरे तूने प्लान चेंज किया ना.
अरे हाँ ना.
ऐसे नहीं चलता है. वापस जा.
This is now bd6 here. Sorry, not king. I'll win this pawn and I'm winning. You don't have anything. You can't reach my pawn.
Yeah, but so this is winning. I got it. But only thing is we're not going to play this.
But look at. But e7 just allows my king in.
Yeah,
It was a
E7
huge
is
blunder. Huge.
definitely a bad move. Both are not playing at their best,
No,
for
of
sure.
course they are not,
Not
but
at all.
now he's threatening bishop takes e7. I think Arjun might even have some chances here. Okay, what about bishop c5, Amruta? Check, correct? King
Rook
c2,
C3.
check.
अच्छा, rook A2 मारोगे. No, can I not go rook C3 there, Sagar?
Ah, and then what?
Patience. Patience.
Come back, huh? Come back. Okay, patience, I understand. Let's see, guys. This game is not over yet.
Travel with Nikhil. क्या हुआ? क्या हुआ क्या? क्या हुआ?
Arey, I went inside the kitchen to eat something, and then I ate like something
क्या?
spicy,
देखो,
and then
अरे जाना
and then
फिर.
I touched my eye and
तो फिर
oh, by
why?
the way, instead of
अरे
instead
don't
of
waste
taking
your
rook
time.
c3
जाओ.
check, he took on a2.
This is also fine. This should also be fine. Go and wash your eyes, Sagar.
Let's call it.
Sagar, please go wash your eyes. I want you to fully focus here. Now you'll.
Rook a3, king b4. Amruta, don't do that.
Okay, go rook G2.
Rook g2, queen.
Oops, sorry. इधर queen हो रहा है.
My one eye is closed and you are what? What are you doing?
अरे very sorry. I got distracted, guys. Very sorry for that. Ice pack लगा. Wash your eyes. वही बवी. One-eyed monster. Okay. Blindfold chess. That's cool. नहीं, rook 8 is good. Now king b4. इधर तो basically black is only going to have this pawn. Can it be pushed? Because ये तो लग रहा है rook 8 के बाद मरने वाला है. It's gonna be dead. Why can't you go king b4 or you can? King b4. Yes, you can. Can I go rook e8? King b4, rook e8. Yeah. Possible. 3 minutes for Sam. By the way, very quickly, let us look at Anish's game. Oh, it's equalized now. Rapport has equalized, man. How?
Anish didn't find knight b8. He played bishop e7.
Oh. Yeah, it was slightly better anyway. Takes rook b8, rook g1.
But what about Arjun game? Draw, yeah?
That is draw, yes.
Draw,
But I'll
yeah.
go back to it.
I like Anish's position still somehow with this one clump of pawns in the center.
Yeah, ये बहुत दूर है. Distant relative. Knight g5, bishop c8, knight f3. He goes knight h5. Actually, there are quite some weaknesses, but because the pieces are very less now, it's not so easy to put more forces into that. Why king f7? What is his idea? Maybe he wants to go with his king to a4 or what? Here. Oh, that's the route.
Oh, but that c4 pawn is.
हाँ मतलब bishop c8, knight f3. So white got some time to reroute.
I think
it will be a perpetual.
Anish might agree to a draw. But look at Anish. He has his hand. Oh, he wants to play on.
Knight f6. He goes knight f6. Now the threat is this, but this is defended yet. So h4 anyway will play white. White will play that. He cannot really create a, like this cannot go as a passer. Can he go e5 at some point? Not right now, but again to play e5 he needs his bishop on f6 or king on f6. Then this becomes weak after takes. If he goes d5, then after takes. That should be possible, no? Black is never thinking of d5 because I think he's worried about giving this square. So both these pawns are kind of safe. ठीक है.
Can we go to Arjun game?
Yep. As we discussed, rook e8 check, king f7 has happened.
Draw.
बट खेलोगे क्या?
Rook d6.
Rook d6 if you play. Yeah, bishop e7, rook d5, bishop c5, king
Draw.
c5. It is going to be a draw.
No, rook e2, rook d7. I feel still Arjun can press a bit. Look at how Hans Niemann's king.
Baapre, wow, what a beautiful mate.
No, what if en passant?
Acha, opposite to. Forgot.
Close the plate.
Such a nice.
Hey, Arjun is winning.
What a blunder! क्या किया?
He played bd6, bishop e7, king c5, and now Arjun
Oh,
has.
king pawn endgame में जा रहा है.
No. He
Yes.
has to take and go here. Yeah, now go rook e2.
I thought rook d8 पहले आता था, but bishop e7 आ रहा है.
Because the main thing is, after rook e2, he's pawn up and he's going to win. Yeah, he plays it.
Can't
Oh my god.
believe it. I can't believe it. I didn't think there were any chances to go
Can
wrong
we make an
with
edit?
anyway.
Can we make an edit tomorrow? Arjun, opponent blunders in the opening like mouse slip. No expression. Arjun losing position. Arjun now winning. You just can't know what is happening.
Ah. But it's a very what to say, in a game, in an offline game, it's such a thing that your opponent knows कि अर्जुन को देखा तो कुछ भी पता नहीं चलने वाले है.
नहीं अभी अर्जुन का देखा थोड़ा like some
Tension आया
no
क्या?
he knows he's winning. This expression where he take on h2
और रुक d2 सागर.
हाँ क्यों?
नहीं.
Why
Okay,
he will take and you can't go into pawn end game.
But ये इतना easy है क्या?
हाँ easy है
king
क्यों
g7,
पता है?
king h6, king h5, king g4.
Rook h3 I thought
Rook d3.
and h5 h4 no. Or Amruta check. Oh, what a nice move. Wow, Arjun, wow. Because if
King
you play
d6?
here, I will take pawn ending lost.
King
because
d6 गया तो?
Rook c3 was coming, so he had to stop.
Oh, nice move. One
And
more file
now your
kicking
king is
away.
cut off, and now your idea looks good, Amruta.
Nice. King g7.
Wow.
It started. Too good. I can't believe he's winning. Like,
Yeah.
what all went wrong in this game? Amazing.
Arjun, one expression of Arjun happened.
Oh, he's not happy kya right now.
No.
He's
When he knows
really-
he's winning, he sits back in his chair. So now we know when Pragnananda is winning,
He drinks water.
he drinks water from his bottle. Resign. Arjun won.
Well done, Arjun. I mean, we never imagined that Black could have won this position. Like, seriously, you can go so wrong. The possibility till the end that your opponent can make mistakes, and you need to be alert for those mistakes is so important.
Yeah. No, Arjun didn't give up till the end,
Yeah.
and he was able to
Yeah.
turn it around. Like he was losing.
Yes.
And I think Sam is right now checking his game maybe just lightly. And he would be very upset at having missed the win. It was not just that he made a mistake in the opening, but then he got a chance.
Absolutely. No, I think the whole for Sam, this blunder which we are seeing right now, but that thing had started earlier only since he
Okay.
played Bishop E2.
Right.
The
Can
basic
we
should
look at Anish's game for some time and then come back
Correct,
and
yes.
analyze a bit of. Hello Anmol. Coming to stream after the candidates. How's life? Everything is good, Anmol. We are very, very busy these days with several things happening, mainly Chessbase India Originals, Olympiad coming up, also working on some things. And today, Amruta, we went to the Google office as well in Mumbai.
Yeah, it was.
We went to the
very
Google
nice.
office to meet a few of our people who work with us. on our channel. And by the way, Anish seems to be better suddenly.
Oh, this is a very interesting endgame because this is almost like 1 pawn. So Anish is 1 pawn up. And he also has a bishop. He also has an active king. But over here, after b takes c3, the move which he could have thought was a5 already starting. And to stop the pawn promotion, maybe white is going to consider something like knight d2. Then you go king g4. And eventually this knight could also transfer itself.
Right.
Attack
So
this
with
pawn.
that outside passer, it was good. But now with knight b6, do you think Anish has lost his edge?
I mean, the bar at least thinks so, but knight d6 is played. So, not really. If not knight d6, then what? Basically, you had to go knight e5. Now, this move
It's
is
a
kind
very
of tough
random
because
position.
it stops your own pawn.
Yeah.
And it does defend this, but knight d6
The
seems
main
so
idea is
natural.
knight d3 and attacking c5.
c5 and f4 both. So,
So
yeah, this was a nice move. He went knight d6 here.
he went knight d6, attacking the bishop, and now a5 would have been perhaps strong, Amruta.
Yeah.
A5, knight c8, knight c8. But he defended his bishop, which is okay. Now knight d2, king g4. I have a feeling that Anish might convert this.
Possible. Oops.
Anish is very positive here. He knows that this is his chance. Knight b7. I think you should not exchange of pieces here, because then after knight c5 it looks like it's kind of drawish. So first knight d7 seems correct.
Or knight a4, Sagar?
Yeah, also possible. Very active and
But
attacking.
that knight comes in the way.
Oh, he takes on c4, but
With
then
the
knight
bishop.
c5.
What if you take on c4, takes and then knight c5?
Take, take, but then a5.
Yeah, that's not a easy thing. But Anish has only 30 seconds.
Knight f3, very tricky move.
Now a4? He will have to give...
a4, knight e5, knight c4, knight c4, knight a4.
नहीं knight f3 को a4, knight पे
A4.
check. Oh, it's a check. It's a check. Bishop b5.
Anish is low on time actually. That's the main issue here. Check.
It's such a...
It's a tough position.
Yeah, because
It's a tough
so many
position for white also, because I think this a pawn is very risky.
How much can you calculate, right? Because with so many possibilities, it's really hard.
Look at Richard Rapport, no? He's
completely
yeah.
With the two knights. Also, in less time, as we know, yeah, the knights can be dangerous for that bishop.
Viraj Chokhani says, can never visualize knight forks. How to go about it? Viraj, one of the key rules is that of a knight fork is that knight always attacks two pieces which are on the same colored square. So let's imagine that if your king is on light square and your bishop is on light square, then there can be a knight fork. But now with the king on a dark square and a bishop on a light square, there can never be a knight fork. So if you keep this little rule in mind, you might save yourself a lot of pain.
Now king f3?
Yeah, or knight f5 also. Maybe suddenly
In fact,
Rapport
f4 is being lost.
Yeah, Rapport suddenly starts to get ambitious, yeah.
But no, he can't really, because knight d5, knight c3. For black, it is easier to always hold
King F8.
with the bishop.
Now King F3.
Yeah, why not?
A4 को just take and then take this and play draw. But maybe Rapport wants to win. Okay, takes the pawn. Anish pushing his pawn. With low time, the two knights can really create problems. Huh?
And acha, but even with the two bishops which you are having, ट्रैवल विद निखिल रोशन से सुपर चैट नहीं जा रहा है, बैंक फ्रॉड बोल के डिक्लाइन कर रहा है.
His उनका जो कविता है वो कह रहे हैं ब्लंडर करे मन मेरा तो इश्क का खेल गलत हो जाता है. जब सोचते हो तुम कि वह हार जाएगा वह जीत अपनी दोहराता है. अर्जुन ओपी. अरे क्या खा रहे हो सागर भाई. Someone gifted me this, a very close relative gifted the whole truth, so I was eating that.
बट एक्चुअली नाइस नेम यार, तुम एक सच गिफ्ट कर रहे हो,
एनर्जी बार
टेलिंग समबडी सम ट्रूथ.
या
आज तुम्हारे लिए गिफ्ट है, क्या लाया, क्या है, फिर एक सच बताने का. बट देन ट्रूथ इज बिटर, तो ओके, आई लाइक बिटर कॉफी.
that's why there's less sugar in this. Okay, draw happened. Amruta, can
Draw
we just
where?
check Arjun's game once
यस.
as to how
अरे अक्षय ना तो लॉन्ग टाइम.
guys किसी ने चेन्नई ओलंपियाड की टिकट ली है? अक्षय नातू आस्क.
बहुत लोग हैं इसमें.
हम लोग ने ली है. अक्षय तुमने चेस बेस इंडिया ओरिजिनल्स की टिकट ली है कि नहीं? आर यू कमिंग टू मुंबई? This was the blunder, guys. F6, and after this Sam was winning after E6.
Then he blundered when he played E7.
Yeah,
But
here
that
E7,
point, E7 is a very surprising move. Who would allow King F7?
I don't know. I mean, there's no
What
threat
would have
also.
gone wrong?
There's no threat.
हाँ, so if he goes King D3, मतलब let's say he would not have seen some progress. That's possible.
हाँ ठीक है, फिर भी ठीक है. Rook
King
E8.
D3.
He might have thought Rook
Rook
E8.
C6 को anyway he would have thought Rook E7 या King G7, Bishop
maybe-
C3.
But I don't know. What
Actually, how will he progress here is a good. Even if he wants to retain, I'm interested to understand how.
अरे I
can
told
win.
you, this move.
नहीं, एक मुंह का नहीं है सवाल ना.
अरे Rook B8 threatening here. Bishop C5 threatening here.
Oh, so you have to exchange the rook and then your king is
No,
more
if king is on F8, then not. Because if king F8, here take, then king E7. And
But here you have bishop c5.
yes. So here the bishop C5 wins.
Got it.
But if king not king F8, then I check, you take. If you go king F8, I have check stopping you from coming here.
Got it.
By the way, people wanted to look at the standings. So here's the
हाँ, please
standings.
standings दिखा देना.
Jeffrey Jeong leading still. Because he won against Radjabov, he did not play. But Sevilla number 2 position beating Neiman, and Arjun moves to number 3. Duda number 4, Vei number 5, Shakriyar 6, Neiman, Aronian, Giri, Venjun, Wojtaszek, Rapport, Aryan Tari, Dominguez, Shankland, and Radjabov. Okay. Amruta, before the next round starts, do you want to look at Pragnananda's game? Pragnananda was playing at
Parisian Open.
Parisian
Someone had
Open,
mentioned.
and what is his live rating now? Prag has reached up to 5-2. So Prag has now become the number 10th junior in the world, 2652. He has also gone ahead of Nihal, who is 2651. Gukesh is 2693.6. Arjun is
Wow.
2698, but Arjun won't get any rating points in this tournament. So, and Raunak is 2615. So, currently in top 20 juniors of the world, 5 are Indians, out of which second, third, 10th, 11th, and 14th.
Nice.
I think this juniors list which is there, which has Firuza, Abdusattarov, Neiman, Kaimar,
Esipenko.
Esipenko. These are the future stars of the chess world. What do you think? Few years down the line, they will all be playing like
Yeah.
super
on top.
tournaments.
Even Shant.
Shant Sargsyan still has to. Shant Sargsyan still would have to. I think he's also very good.
Yeah.
But Shevchenko,
Yeah,
Sindarov,
I think so. I think so.
Liang.
That's what we have to see, because you actually can see the top players are not letting that easily, that the juniors can just come and sweep them.
Oh,
It's a super hard thing
they will
to
not give
break
it.
even in this top 10 of the world.
हाँ मतलब इतना इजीली तो कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा, but sooner or later they will.
But when the sooner arrives and when the later arrives is the question.
Amruta with
Sooner arrives later and later, or later arrives sooner. Don't forget Charvi, that's what Graham says.
Yeah, I'm also actually interested to see if Charvi can, make it to the sort of open list, not in the only the girls, and also there would be other
Other
girls for sure, but making it.
But right now it's too early
Too
to
early,
predict, because it's just, under 8 is just another ball game, and then to be consistent until you're 13 and 14 is completely different. There have been real talents who have been until the age of 10, 11, बाद में छोड़ दिया है. 9th and 10th really is one of the critical period.
Right.
पता चलता है.
By the way, I'm just showing them the Pragnananda game in Parachin, where his opponent now played a6.
Nojarbek. Oh, he didn't take on B6. C4 was hanging. Now he defended B6. Development का bishop E7 में आके कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा है भाई. So this is pretty.
If like once you have given up the d5 square, that looks horrible, no?
No, also your bishop is on like in this Maroxy like structure. Bishop E7 पे है तो तुमको वो भी फटाफट मिलना है. Queen B8, bishop D8. But you're right with the pawn on E5.
And also look at this move by Prag. He wants to go like this.
Yeah. E5 was very early for sure. And E5 too.
And so he stopped this, but then Prag said, but I also have way from here. So then out of desperation, he sacked a piece because positionally he was getting crushed.
What would be the rating of Nojarbek?
I think 2450 or something. He just got
Somehow the opening was not played very well.
Yeah, he got outplayed.
Center for Chess is Olympiad venue airport से कितना दूर है?
Around 1.5 hours. Okay, now who's Arjun playing in the next round? It's an important round, Amruta.
Yes, let's have a look at it. In the meantime, Ravi Krishna says, how do you recommend juniors to study openings in 1700 FIDE range? 1700. Opening data reference. Mega database is one of the key things for sure to study openings.
Yeah, I think one of the best ways is to there are 2 3 approaches. You can find the approach which works for you the best. One approach is that you first play some games on that opening without knowing much, like you know a few moves, and that is good enough. You just start playing, and then it helps you to understand that opening and you play it. The other approach is that you try to look at a strong player who plays that opening, and then there you have Arjun versus Wei Yi Amruta this time.
Oh, the game has started.
E4, C5, Knight F3, D6, Bishop B5, Moscow variation. Bishop A4 played by Arjun, Knight F6, castles. And already you are sacrificing a pawn, Amruta, here, because then Rook E1, Knight F6 and D4. This is how you get a lot of compensation.
Nice compensation. Exactly.
Take, and I
Looks
think
really nice.
Yeah, this is very dangerous.
So you will not allow, I think.
No, he didn't take. We didn't take. A6, C4, E6, Knight C3, Bishop E7. Again, you can see Amruta after C4. Once again, you don't want to take this because of Rook E1 and D4. So he went E6, Knight C3, Bishop E7, D4, takes. So Arjun has a nice position here.
Oh, it's interesting, this open Sicilian structure where generally the bishop is on E2 and here it is on A4. It's very interesting. Okay, now it's going to convert, like normally this is also one of the structures. So it will go to C2.
Maybe bishop on C2 is nicely positioned, and then you play B3.
No, bishop on C2 there is a problem. Generally you will have rook on C1. So बीच में आ रहा है. But like from D3 you would have gone to B1 or पीछे यहाँ से भी you'll go to B1. Queen C7. Or he may have some pros of having that bishop on A4.
Which he's already given a check. And B6 is not easy because
actually
Knight C6.
That's true. In fact, the bishop on A4 is so much better than D3 and all. That's a nice position, yaar, Sagar. Bishop on A4.
Right.
Yeah, also good books. I think yes, some specialized opening books are also possible to see if you have that patience. I remember when Sagar was reading Avruk's D4 book. It was like
for opening.
Yeah, it really improved the understanding. So
it improved my understanding, but I got very confused.
That is the initial stage of confusion. But
when I went for World Juniors for the first time in Poland, when I was 20 years old, it was my last year to play World Junior. So I thought it's a big chance for me. So let me just prepare very well. So Amruta at that time was my girlfriend. And I told, what do you do with your girlfriend when you are going to the World Juniors? Of course, prepare openings with her. So we both sat down and she helped me prepare. She would ask me, what will you play here? What will you play here? And we went through almost the full book with 1D4. And then I went to the tournament and it was like a 400-page book. And I was so confused whether in this line Queen B3 is good or Queen C2 is good. And there were little subtleties. And then I was so, I lost 2-3 games there. And then I decided that ये सब नहीं अब भी नहीं खेलना है. I will play what I knew very well. And I played and I won 4 games in a row or something like that. And then once I won that, I realized that, okay, and Amruta is right, my understanding had improved, but my results didn't come because I couldn't remember. But overall, you will always see when you are improving, you will see a dip in your results often because you have not gained those new skills many times. So don't be disheartened by that. Otherwise, you can never learn anything new.
Yeah, that's true. Initially, that's a common thing. Tactics, I think calculation is really good. There is practical chess defense also. I don't know if it is still available, but woodpecker method, then calculation by Akko Bagard is very good. Then very soon we are going to have Ramesh's book also.
Ramesh's book on calculation,
That's
yeah,
going to be a
that's
little
going to come soon.
tough as well. So quite a few books would be good.
Bishop G5 played by Arjun, H6.
Rohan Thakre writes very nice. Amruta was Sagar's second in chess and then became first in life as wife.
But Amruta, my
Yes.
question to you is, what if here knight E5? How will you defend C4 pawn?
I don't think you need to do Rook C1 if you go.
Queen C4?
Oh, then you will have to go Queen B4. So let's say if I go Rook C1, you're gonna play Queen C4, and I go Queen D2.
No, don't play Queen D2. Play knight D5 here. Maybe that's better.
Knight D5, Queen takes C2, knight E7 I have. But still the knight is...
I think knight D5 I have to take Queen D4. Knight E7, King H8, yeah, something like this.
Okay, so Queen C4 is actually a threat.
Bishop B3 you have to play. So I think knight E5 was good.
If I go Bishop B3, don't like it, but can I not go B3? Though it's a little bit B5 aa jayega maybe. B3 ko B5, right guys?
B5.
Nice. Trap.
Typical shot here in the Marazzi bind.
Yes, all the time when your knight is on C3, the pawn is played, you have to consider the ideas with B5 and D3.
Amruta, can we just quickly look at this game which has a crazy opening?
Acha. Mamed
Yaro versus Dominguez.
Magnus Carlsen, Norway wale says, guys, I'm a positional genius. Also, I like chess. Come on, Magnus Carlsen, Norway wale. You can do better with your super chat.
ED, knight D5, Queen D5, Rook A7.
Wow, isn't it better for white?
But look at how this Rook has developed before both these minor pieces.
Now, anytime I see such a bishop on C8, it just reminds me of Ding.
Ding versus
That's
Rapport.
Ding's bishop.
Ding versus Rapport from the candidates where Ding won the game without moving his bishop at all. All those who have joined in are asking about the score. This is the score here.
Nice. Okay, so bishop E3.
I don't like knight E5 now.
Now knight E5, the difference is going to be... No, anyway, bishop B3. And should I be worried about any ideas with knight G4, Sagar? Yes. Guys, I want to ask you, if bishop D2, what is the move that black should play?
Yeah. Abhishek Ranjan, the time format of 25th July is 10 minutes plus 2 second increment.
क्या बात है? Everyone is
very cool.
Pretty alert. The King, Chess Unblocked, Tridev Cinema, Deepankar Kamble, Ultadanga Shramik, Spandan Bhaumik, Subhash Arvind, Bontu Manideep, Satyagiri, Shubham Agarwal. Very nice. D5, and here let's not forget.
Amruta, this has happened.
Yes. What? In the game?
Yeah, Arjun played bishop b3 and now knight g4. I think Arjun's opening has misfired here.
So where? Because he was completely fine. Actually, h6 ko bishop e3 nahi hai. He had to
No, I think bishop g5 was in itself an inaccurate.
Correct. Bishop, but if you don't go bishop g5, if you play direct bishop e3, still the same thing. So it's maybe h3 first, just stop this, and then go bishop e3.
But I think
in any case, if you go knight e5 attacking c4, you will have to go bishop e3.
I don't want to play h3. I want to
Why
play
not?
king h1. You know why? Because in such positions,
Right.
you can play f4,
Right.
bishop e3, and then later on, if someone attacks here, you can go back to g1.
Yeah, I like it. The only problem is after knight e5,
Bishop
you
e3.
cannot play bishop bishop b3 if you do. Now I go b6,
F4.
go f4 you have. Which I'm not worried, to be honest. If you go f4, I can go knight g6. But I should be worried,
F5.
yeah? F5, if I go, you are giving me the square? Is it okay? Yeah, it's
maybe.
okay because I cannot develop this bishop here.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep it on this diagonal, but then this pawn remains weak. That's true. Yeah, king h1 was a better idea.
By the way, Amruta, what you said has happened in the game. After knight g4, bd2 happened, then d5 also happened.
Oh, I just didn't expect that.
And now Arjun goes knight f3.
So black is getting a very comfortable position, Firto.
How?
Because first of all, to calculate, there is one d takes c4, there is one d takes c4,
And there's d4.
and there is d4.
Because you can't
nice.
Mate.
So 3 moves. क्या खेलोगे? Chat. D takes c4, D takes c4 or d4. Let's see. It's a... What way you will play, I don't know. Also, maybe all the moves are good. That too, I don't know. But in general, what are your choice? What is your choice going to be like?
Mayur, yes, I think Arjun has been a little lucky, of course, in both the games that he played today. But also,
lucky
I
cannot
think
be
in the
the
first
word, no?
one,
Lucky cannot be the word, but
yeah, I mean, he is playing in a way where, at least against Shankland, that move, I mean, that mistake was just very
unbelievable. Yeah,
it
was
was
a draw.
quite a trivial one. The one with he played before this against Wojtaszek, that he played very resourcefully. I mean, there he put a lot of pressure on his opponent. D4.
People are liking d4 the most, and then d4 or dc4 equally. So d4 they're liking the most. If you go d4, I can't take, of course.
Knight.
Can't move the knight here. Actually,
Knight d1, right?
and for knight d1, black actually simply is having an advantage. Defends this. Slowly is going to improve his position. Can I go h3? You also have d3 ideas.
Yeah, 95.
Oh, bishop f4 wouldn't be a problem, or what? Bishop f4?
Knight f3, queen f3, e5.
Yeah, this is just too strong for a central passer. Okay, d4 is a possibility, but here white has this intermezzo, which is e5. You take, I take. If you take here, then takes, queen takes, and this is okay. This
What
is
about
playable,
what about bishop takes f6? Then
that
I'll
is a
piece
good.
down. Piece down. No, I don't want to be piece down. Yeah, this is playable.
Yeah, this is playable. Takes. This should be good for black because of these double pawns. Okay, so d4 is a good idea for black. And if he takes here, takes, b5 and bishop b7. Oops, this is also something which you can play. So a lot of choices. He's thinking. Yeah, he's still thinking. What about Anish's game? I'll quickly go inside. If you want to take some rest, you can. Oh, he plays d4, by the way.
But look at how Anish has pushed his pawns down the board against Wojtaszek. My God.
ये कहाँ से आया?
Get these pawns, no, Amruta? I think he just made a mistake somewhere here when he first of all took on d2. I think direct b6 would have been better, but he played takes b6 and then b5.
Oh, yeah, this is just too good for white.
I think Anish will just
Crushed,
crush.
no?
Yeah.
This is almost crushed now already.
Darshan says Olympiad 3K for the hall, too expensive. I think overall there is a lot of demand, right? And maybe you can't have everyone coming there, and maybe that's the reason why these tickets are a bit expensive for hall 1. But apart from that, I think for students, for women, it is quite reasonable, 300 rupees, and for a couple of hours. Also, I'm not sure about from where exactly you will get to see the games. Might not be that you can move in.
Until you reach there, until the first 2 rounds happen.
But anyway, I think we
then
will
get
meet
to know.
many of the people there. Of course, after commentary and stuff. Whatever.
Nothing. We'll get to meet many, matlab, I think almost the whole world. Whole chess world.
Ashish Ghorpade says, Sagar bhai, please say hi to Grace. Hi Grace. Dwij, Prisha, Khanak, Pahel, Kanishk, Vansh, Kashika, Ved, Myra, Sanvi, Aryan, Divyam, Devansh. Almost all from Goregaon want to meet you. Arey, Ashish, please do bring all of them to the ChessBase India Chess Club next week on Saturday. Would be very nice to meet all of them.
Wow.
E5.
All very nice names.
Yeah, very nice names. And see you all, guys. E5, Amruta played on the board.
Ah, this is also happening. Oh, Wei is... How is Wei doing in this tournament already, Sagar?
Pretty well. He's on number 4 position, I think. So it's number 3 versus number 5.
Okay,
Number
got
3.
it.
Takes. I think he will do this, Amruta. This one which we thought Bishop F7.
And
which will force the double pawns, and then black has a kind of risk-free edge, and then Arjun will struggle. But then Arjun
somehow Arjun is defending in a way which is like opponents are going to be under pressure until they are able to win. Darshan Singhvi says, best part, I reside in ECR. Hope to meet you all.
Yes,
oh, that's
Darshan,
nice.
see you. I'm also very excited to meet all of you. In fact, there are so many people who are volunteers.
Yes.
Who are going to be there throughout the event.
I know.
And that is going to be great fun to meet them. Oh, look at this. What he did, Amruta. This is Arjun Erigesi at his best. Arjun is like, जिंदगी में अगर दुख से जीना नहीं है, ठीक है, ये दुख है,
अर्जुन को हिंदी आता है मजे में,
तो हम जिएंगे शान से, पीस देकर. So now knight is attacked. No double pawns. H3 will trap the knight.
Nice.
Nice, no?
Nice move. Nice way to, at least feel there is still some, freedom.
But I think...
Pieces. What is the move if a black you are able to think
Knight
of?
D7. H3.
Now knight E5?
Knight F2.
No, not E5. You want to take which pawn?
But knight E5, Amruta, knight E5. Knight E5, then bishop E5, I think clearly.
Then your bishops are open and you have this development advantage. Great compensation.
Why not take here?
Absolutely. But knight F2, rook F2 ko bishop C5 is the plan kya?
Bishop C5 is possible. So queen F2. Bishop
anyway,
C5,
bishop
D4.
C5, bishop D4.
So I can also try for b5 here.
Yeah,
Just
takes just
Just
opening
developing.
the. But I am worried about that f7 pawn, though there is no way to attack it. Okay, it's safe. And your e5 is isolated, always under pressure. Very interesting way to defend. Practically, I think this is a very good
Yeah.
choice by Arjun. Very good choice.
Manas Jati says, "Hey, I got hall 2 tickets for the Olympiad. How to get entry into the opening ceremony on 20th July?" I am not sure about how to get into it for the opening ceremony. Also, I don't know where the opening ceremony is being held. I think there were some talks that it won't happen at the venue, they will happen somewhere else. So I'm not sure yet. Or you guys know already where the opening ceremony is.
Yeah, I think they don't know. By the way, Chess Unblocks is super resourceful. Absolutely. This is really amazing.
But Amruta, I'm not so sure as to one is knight h5 with the idea of
Yeah,
knight
knight
f.
h5 also I was thinking actually. Uh, yes, h3. Now will you take on e5 or f2? Acha, you don't care. Knight f4, queen e4. Knight h5 somehow feels, because that knight is loose there, feels slightly difficult to go for it.
Yeah.
I think Wei is going to use a good amount of time.
He went. No, by the way, this is Anish's game. And Radoslav Wojtaszek still under pressure. But at least he's exchanged couple of pieces.
Yeah, when you have less
Meanwhile,
space,
Wei's
exchange
time,
pieces.
5 minutes only.
That's what. And still he's going to be thinking more. Anish Patel says, Sagar bhai and Amruta ma'am, you're literally just 5 minutes away from where I am. Popular का मिसल अब उतना सही नहीं रहा. अरे क्या बात कर रहे हो?
हाँ,
Sagar
popular
really likes.
after getting renovated, I think.
Yeah. But it's been a long time. It was, when I came to Bombay, it was one of my favorite restaurants.
Xiong is losing. Jeffrey Xiong is losing against whom? Richard.
Oops.
Piece down. Why? How did you lose a piece? Sure, he got into a very bad opening position and then. If he moved the knight, Amruta, here, already d5 and black is just really better.
Yeah. Completely.
So that's the reason why he sacked a piece. He forgot about queen a5 perhaps.
So in this round, to be resourceful, people are giving up some material.
Yeah.
Om
knight
Prajapati
h5
asks, Sagar bhai, what if Wei doesn't move his knight on g4 and double Arjun's g and h pawn? But then he doesn't get that extra pawn, no, which he was capturing with.
Ah, he would be a pawn down then. Because Arjun is a pawn up.
Chess Unblock says Arjun effect. Don't know how else to explain his brilliant comeback.
Levon Aronian seems to be doing well.
Darshan Singhvi asks in his super chat, predict which Waka boy will reach 2700 first. Given the statistics, Gukesh is the closest.
Right now, Gukesh might do it because he is also playing a tournament.
Correct.
Starting from 13th.
नहीं तो वो तो बोर्ड कवर कर रहा है तुम्हारा आधा चेहरे को.
Knight h5 played Amruta. h3 khile.
Oh, he's played, yeah, with 5 minutes in hand. h3, yeah, khelo na. Why not? h3 is the simplest, though black anyway intends to take on f2. What else do you have? That knight on h5 is slightly loose. Can you go?
I think he might find some another resourceful idea like knight d4. Because now if you...
95 1 second.
This
Queen
is
e.
it.
I know one piece तो जा ही रहा है ना. You will have to give a piece.
Yeah.
So queen e5 I can think of, but I'm very afraid of that bishop on c3 disco attacks and all that. Looks scary. Even same for knight e5, queen h5 in fact. So don't even want to take any pawn. Oh, knight d4 is such a strong move then. Isn't it scary for black?
Yeah.
How do you defend? f5. Knight d4, f5. E takes f6, knight f6. You will defend. So you cannot take on f6. Oh, nice move, Amruta.
Well done.
Well done. Thank you.
Let's see if Arjun can find it.
Are you okay?
Oh, Arjun played knight d4. My god, Arjun.
But Arjun played knight d4, but it's
Now where he must find f5,
but f5
which he played.
It's because by method of elimination, that's
But he
what
found.
he did.
And Arjun played h3 instantly.
So he wanted to do this anyway.
But Amruta now knight f4 again forced. What a game.
Yeah, this is a great
Acha, ye
game.
khelo knight f4. I'll go queen f3. Okay. Now
Okay.
if you take on e5 with the knight, I'll take on f4. So you will have to play queen e5.
Is there no good disco? Eh,
Hg fg queen g4.
sorry.
Yeah, this looks interesting position to tell you the truth. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not so
this is a
clear
fighting
that who's
position.
better. I think
Because, yeah.
Arjun has managed to create complications beyond.
Correct. But sir, let me tell you one thing.
What happens to
जब
knight
ये
takes
उठ
e5?
जाएगा ना ये बंदा,
हाँ.
तब अर्जुन की पोजीशन में और शान आएगी.
Yeah, this bishop is like you, which doesn't wake up early in the morning, and many alarms snoozes also does not. But later when it wakes up, starts doing a lot of work. But knight e5, there is queen h5, guys. That's the main issue.
Yeah. D. Sandeep says Sagar by the Torch is coming to Vizag this weekend. How will I be able to find it out where it will be or any idea?
Queen e5, h.
Oh, Graham. Pawar remembers my name for the evaluation bar. Mogambo खुश हुआ.
You can write to us on chessbaseindia@gmail and I'll try to figure out. And queen e5 was played, Amruta. He did not play knight f4. It was knight f4, queen f3, queen e5, hg, fg was the way to go. But also this is not clear. But he went queen e5. Now he took, takes rook a d1. And I think once again Arjun has managed to equalize the game, guys. Really, Arjun is playing so well.
This was tremendously resourceful. There is beyond doubt. And you see, this game particularly is landing up in every move is being kind of difficult. Like the practically to assess, to calculate. It's not easy, this
Right.
one. Yes, this is Arjun effect for sure. 120 back is in 96 winning for Arjun. But bar says equal. At which point? 96. You have to tell me at which point. Okay, maybe at 20th move, yeah? No, it's also not happening. What about G3? Prashant Tiwari asks. Acha, rook d1 ko G3 over here to double the pawns. Could be interesting. If I take knight G3, fg3, yes, this is doubled pawn, but finally it's a pawn. Equal pawns now. Rook f1, king f1. And I'm wondering what is this bishop planning? इसको develop तो होना ही है. But you don't have e5. It's hanging. Most probably you will have to go something like b6 or something in order to go bb7. But again, that is also not happening easy. So you will need to make another move, which is rook a7 and try rook d7 or rook c7. So काफी time लगेगा to develop. So I don't think g3 is a good idea. In fact, you have a nice pawn there. He is thinking rook d1. Go. He played bishop c5. Oh, this gives some advantage to Arjun. Actually, what else was possible was knight f4. We could have thought of knight f4, exchanging these knights here, takes rook f4, and now these ideas could be strong. g3, bishop c5. That was definitely something to consider. Also keeps pressure on the c4 pawn. He played bishop c5 with the same idea, g3 eventually. But now I think Arjun will definitely go g3. Stops all these g3 ideas. Have to weaken the f3 square. That is a commitment. So he will think for a while to decide whether he wants to do that. But once it's done, this knight is, you can see, very difficult to come to f3. It's a very long journey. Already you know this type of a thing will take at least 1, 2, 3 and 4. काफी time है. Graham Power says, can you adjust the cam a little bit? My camera looks like Prax cam. 1 second. This is maybe, yes. Vivek asks why Arjun is not playing smooth without some complications. Yeah, I think there are sometimes it does happen. To play perfect chess is never so easy. So sometimes you have to get into the groove. Then you're unstoppable. Okay. Yeah, he goes g3. And now at least these threats have been stopped for him. What else will Black think of? Like we saw that he wants to shift his knight at some point of time. Oh, there are some moves which have happened. No, he didn't play g3. Sorry guys. Very sorry, my bad. He played bishop d4. Arjun did not go g3. He did not want to weaken this square. In fact, he exchanged the dark square bishop. Now attacking this g4 pawn. And Wei went with e5, rook d5. This is what we are having right now. Yes, there was a discovered check with c5, king h8. This was also possible to put your rook on e4, pressurizing both these pawns here. But Arjun decided to go rook d5, which is also a fine move. He's attacking e5. Do you want to defend it? If you go rook e8 here, then white has a very good move, guys. Can you find a good move for white? That's a nice move there. Let's see if you all are alert. Okay, I'm getting a lot of answers. I'm going to show you guys. This is the answer which I've got from you. C5. But that's not the right move, guys. The right move has been given by 11 people. Anurag, Siddhant, Jeel, Gaming Forever, Nishant, Asin, Shubham, Rahul, Rushil and Argon. The right move is bishop a4. Exactly. The whole point of bishop a4 is you are attacking this rook. And this rook has to decide. If he leaves the e file, Then he loses the e5 pawn. Oops. E file, then he loses the pawn. If he decides to keep the rook on e file, then you allow this rook on the back rank, and again the development is going to be very difficult. This knight jumps in very strongly. So that was a great idea. This bishop came to a4. So this is not something which Wei is going to allow. What he went for is, he went bishop e6 here. Rook takes e5. He gave up a pawn, which was again a good idea. Bishop f7. And this is the position we are at. Just now, right now, to assess it, white has 3 pawns on the queen side. Wei has 3 pawns on the king side. These two are double pawns. So somewhere this is a weakness, but at the same time, this pawn is constantly putting some pressure on white because of these ideas with g3, which could make this king a slightly in a scary situation at the back rank. The other thing is this knight is at the edge of the board. That is one advantage which white is having. This rook is active, but at any point of time, black's rook is going to challenge it. So this is the whole position which we are having. So for Arjun to be able to, let's say, convert this position is into something is not at all going to be an easy thing. But if he can, that will be because of being able to create a pass pawn here on the queen side. That should be the thing. Chess Unblocked says, from a human point of view, looks very good for Arjun after the opening trouble. Yes, definitely after the opening trouble. I think this position is amazing, which he's got. Wei is under 1 minute. Oh, that's a good, but even Arjun, yeah, almost. Great. Going very interesting. Very quickly, if I have to show you Anish's game, because he's got another pawn on c6 and a nice structure here happening. This knight is again beautifully placed on e5. Okay, what was the last move? Because this knight attacked here, knight e5. He took rook c6. So if you take here, there is rook c2. So he takes the rook on c6. And now this queen is attacked. It has to move. c7 would be that. Oh, he allows c7. But maybe you don't want to do that. And white is also having a good bishop. So in general, Anish has a very good advantage, should be able to convert it. Let's go back to Arjun's game. Here, a few moves have happened as expected. Rook e8, king f1. Knight goes back to f6. Finally, no more at the edge of the board. Knight c3. And it's been a long time. This bishop has been defending this c4 pawn here. Rook c8, exactly. This is definitely a weak link. You want to go knight d5 maybe. He goes rook d4 here. But now h5. Oh, king f8. That's okay. That's okay too. It's maybe Arjun is slowly landing in slight trouble. Very slight trouble. Yes, he goes knight e4 here. Oh my god. So what right now with this exchange of knight e4, rook e4, h5, black has advantage because of this weakness here. Because this bishop is really passive and you have a very active bishop on f7. Every attacker is valued more than the defender, if we have to say. And hence this has happened. Arjun is again getting into trouble. Defending this endgame is not going to be so easy against Wei. What he could have played is, instead of knight e4, though the position is a slightly tough, maybe at this point of time itself, knight d5 could have been a good idea. Allowing knight d5, e d5, though to keep this isolated pawn on d5 again is a decision to take. So this is something which he had to assess. After rook d4, the game position which we are at right now, h5 has been played. and he goes rook d4. His idea, what is his idea exactly? Maybe not wanting to keep this on the light square, but I'm not sure what his idea is. Rook d7 is definitely one, but king e7 is possible. Instead of king e2 was the other possibility. Then f3 break at some point. Rook d4 and b5 was played by Wei. Wei had to be patient. He had to go rook c7 because if he goes king e7, again a check is possible here. If you go king f6, then there is check. If you go king e5, there is a blunder here. So these checks would be possible. You cannot go here because this is again a blunder. So maybe these checks were there. That's why rook c7 could have been a good move. He goes b5, and after b5 takes, oops, bishop b3, ab3, ab5, and now this rook endgame is going to be a draw. Not rook d2 because that would be a losing endgame, because black would have this outside pass pawn. So that's why not rook d2. He goes king f1, and I think they are going to repeat. Yes, they repeated, and it's a draw. It's a draw. Amazing defense by Arjun, especially that critical point in the opening, after the opening. Yes, over here, I would say at which point it was the most critical. Exactly. At this point, after d4, e5, d takes c3, bishop takes c3, amazing resource here, knight h5. This all was really good what he played. Knight d4. Maybe knight, instead of knight d4, if h3 could have been simpler, but it's very hard. I think knight d4 looked way better because black had to be accurate, otherwise these bishops were completely becoming missiles. So f5 was forced, and after takes, Arjun was in a comfortable position. Bishop c5, all the time this g4 pawn was giving some scary threats of g3. So maybe the best way to continue would have been g3, just block it. But guys, to open this diagonal, to give this square, not easy, not a practical decision. Looks really scary. So he played bishop d4, which is way more natural. And at this point of time, rook d1 was okay. Takes, king f1. Maybe we could have first started with knight c3, and for knight f6, already knight d5. We go into the similar position where we were looking at knight d5. Okay, so this was Arjun's game. I'm going to show you the standings also, but before that, let me see what happened to Anish's game. Okay, Anish has won that game. He was able to convert it after d takes c6. Looking at the few final moves. Oh, this was such a sad position for black to play with absolutely no space. And that knight on d7 restricting all possible activity. Takes, king takes, queen d7. The queen literally has no squares except for these two, bichari queen. And he resigns here, completely lost. If you go this, there is queen h8 mate. Anyway, queen f8 mate. Anyway, there is queen f8 here. I think it's soon going to be mated after queen f8. So let's try to look at the standings. By the way, if any game is going on or all the games are over. No, one game is going on. Samuel versus Levon. Oh, Samuel is clearly winning. He's an exchange up. Oops, sorry, one second. Let me show you the board. And let me also get these cameras out. Yep. Yeah, Samuel is beating Levon. Maybe we can get them both here. Oops. There's 1 second. I'm just messed it up a little bit. Let me first get them and then I will be showing you the faces. You have Levon there. Oh, it's over. Levon has lost. So, okay, the game is anyway over. So maybe have to give them a break. Got it. Let's look at the standings right now. These are the standings. Samuel is on 17 points. Jeffrey on 15. Duda on 15. Oh, Duda has climbed to number 3 position. Arjun has moved down to number 4 position. 14 points. Wei on number 5th. Mamedaro, Nieman, Anish. Yeah, there until top 8 we have this. Oh, by the way, Ju Wenjun is on 9 points and she's playing amazing. Wow. She's playing amazing. This is a really great thing because until now it has been very difficult for all the women players. It's really an amazing tournament going on for her. Guys, Bullet, I think ये तो इतना रैपिड टूर्नामेंट है, so maybe we have to wait. Well, let's have some chat. What's going on with you all? And it's after a long time. This tournament is happening. What are your plans for this month? I mean, chess plans. Chess plans, matlab, which tournaments you're planning to play, what type of practice you are going to be doing. Chess for One says, yeah, she beat both the candidates, Raja and Rapport. Oh, she beat Rapport also. That is brilliant. Too good. No, the rounds are not over for today. This is going to be the last round right now. Let me get on the screen. What is the pairing? Arjun is playing with whom? Guys, if you can let me know the pairing, it is going to be very helpful. Ashish Gorpade super chat and says Amruta Tai Ashish again. Some names are pending. Arey. Eva, Vihan, Nishtha, Tanish, and Prisha Margaj will bring all of them Saturday at ChessBiz India Club. Oh my god, amazing आशीष. ये तो पूरी जनता आ रही है, बहुत मजा आने वाला है. Then तो definitely sounds very exciting. I hope that some of your students do get to play with Sagar. Maybe beat him. So guys, Raja, all those who have joined late, yes, he is withdrawn and most probably his health is not good. When health is not good, it is always a dilemma for a chess player because they're not the quitters. As a chess player, you don't really like to quit a tournament. It's something which is a very, very tough call. Just don't want to do that. And you stretch. What usually happens, many of the common mistake by a chess player is to stretch himself like, I won't quit, I'm a fighter and this and that, and then they play and then their health becomes worse and then it is again a much longer journey. So sometimes I think when it comes to health, it's definitely better to really quit and get better. Because this is going to be there, yeah? Like, if not this tournament, next tournament. But your health is something which is you have to cherish. Oh, Abhinav Garg, yes, absolutely. We are hoping to. Shashank says trying to limit watching playing chess. That's the goal for the coming month. Ah. Shashank, do that, but maybe Olympiad ke time keep it an exception. Nee, from Anish with it, from 25th July to 10th August. Those 15 days keep an exception. बाकी सब दिन कर लो, चलता है. I'm sure it will. Playing chess will help you to get good music ideas as a musician. You may be getting some tunes while playing chess. I don't know if I am right or not. By the way, let me also Punit says with the Tanish match ka on the spot ticket milega. I doubt that, but let's I'll not confirm anything, most probably not. Abhinav says not staying in Mumbai and Pune is a big FOMO both in chess and comedy. Oh. Oh, thank you, Anish Patel. Yes, but whenever you're playing chess, whenever you're playing online, definitely try a lot of openings because पहले कैसे होता था? There was not much online playing and all. You go to a tournament, that too it will be a federated tournament. You have paid a lot of entry fee. You have prepared something new, but it's always a slight worry कि यार you need to play some more practice games, but उतने नहीं हुए रहते हैं. And then you go to a tournament. You play a new opening. First few games, you really lose badly. Then you get a hang of it. So, you know, all this process. Now, it's like prepare a new opening, play it, बहुत खेलो, हारो. Then you prepare better. And then you can actually go to a tournament and you can play that new opening where you do. It's no more a new opening for you. Yeah, you have so much experience in that. So these are such great advantages, I would say. So right now when you all play at home, you can, if you're serious, then really do try to use after every game, stop the temptation of starting the next game. First, have a look at your opening, where you went wrong. Oh, okay, got it. Having exams. Shashank says, I've never thought of chess helping get music ideas. Oh, but it definitely doesn't help doing any research. Trying to finish this dreaded PhD. Tell me about it. I know it's not at all an easy thing. My brother's wife is doing PhD. So, yes, totally get it. Let me do all the tayari for the next round, guys. These are the standings until then. Last game for today is Arjun versus... Yeah, guys, do help me. It is Arjun versus whom? I will tell you. It's Arjun is black. He's going to be playing against Dominguez. Then we have Sam Shankland versus Anish Giri. We have Wei versus Zhu Wenjun. Okay, Chinese against each other. We have the leader Jeffrey versus Wojtaszek. Rapport versus Aryan Tari. Duda versus Mamedarov. Aronian versus Nieman. Okay, that will be a very interesting game, I believe. Yeah, and Samuel Sevian now will maybe get a bye. So, Arjun versus Dominguez. let's have them on the screen. What's going on? Let me just check it out. Shreyas Gokhale says chess actually helps me with my research. I only started playing chess a few years ago and I feel my mind has become more sharp after I started playing. Oh, wow, that's cool. You would be having for sure some, limit ki itni deri khelunga, and that way maybe, I believe, not like an addiction. So that's good. But while playing chess, you will not be able to do the research, I believe. Darshan Singhvi says streaming hoga for death match. He asks from Chennai. Yeah, yes, absolutely. So Arjun we have, Anish we have. Okay. Shashank says Sevian is leading and gets a bye. So he will be a leader at the end of day 2. Yeah, right. That's a good point actually. But I'm not sure for other people who had lost with Raja, they will also get 3 points. No, doesn't matter. Just for fun says it happened to me. I was 1850, started playing Catalan, lost 50 rating in 3 weeks and suddenly reached 2090 in next 2 months. Nice. I know a lot of chess players like during their training many times it has been like you change the coach or you prepare something new, something very different. Initially you get really bad results, but you have to hang on, and then it's exactly like your story, zoop, that's how you progress. Oh, Shreyas Sati says, please give a shout out to my wife Swati Shishadri. She's your biggest fan. If you and Sagar visit Germany, we will host you in our house as long as you want. Oh, that is so nice. Thank you so much, Shreyas. And hi, Swati. That is a very nice gesture from you both to invite us to Germany. We used to travel to Germany every year, actually, to Hamburg, where there is this chess base office. So it's in Germany, where we used to travel. Yeah, Hamburg. Sorry, I just mentioned. And Frederick Friedel, we used to be at his place. The nice memories. So yeah, because of the pandemic, I think we have not been able to travel. Uh, but sure, sometime maybe. Why not? Guys, we have the people on the on the screen, and oops, no, sorry, I just, yeah. There we have Arjun versus Dominguez and Anish Giri versus Sam Shankland. We have 4 of them. Arjun is black. I'm gonna flip the board. The Olympiad fever is very, very high, and it's so something which we never thought it's happening in India, and took some time to digest, and finally it's just 15 days, not even, almost 15 days away. We're so close to it. So we are all very excited to go to Chennai, and so many things are uncertain about it, that how will the setting be, how many people will be there, and quite a lot of things are uncertain, but that also makes it exciting. Everyone from the chess world is actually going to be there, guys. Everyone. It's such an opportunity. If you guys get a chance and you're there, it's just going to be a mesmerizing experience for sure. And the games are going to start, guys. They've not yet started, I believe. One second. I just want to make sure that I'm not making any blunders. No. Sagar says you created my first chess rap song. Kai, did you watch it? First rap song. Something I don't remember, but recently I've not been on Insta, Sakar. But if it is on YouTube, I'll watch it. I don't know if I have even watched it, but thanks for reminding. Okay, nice. That's very creative, what you've tried. Shashank says at Olympiad event, Sagar will be vlogging or commentating. So Sagar definitely will be commentating, and we have to see, yeah, how the things are. It's a little bit uncertain. There are too many things to do, so I'm going to be a little bit, in that sense, flexible with my role. The clocks aren't visible. No, the games have not started yet, I believe. Yes, guys. Game started. To where? Round number 8, right? This is auto update. Oh god, what the hell? What the hell? That's what I'm saying. They all are sitting very seriously. How stupid of me, guys. अब भी मुझे बोला games have started. थोड़ा तो जल्दी बोलने का था. काफी moves हो गए यार. Shit. I'm so sorry. E4, C5, knight F3, E6. We have open Sicilian on the board. Knight C3, knight C6. Time enough. Oh, knight B5 has been played. And if you go here D6, then there is bishop F4, E5, bishop G5. So that converts into pelican. But he goes bishop B4, not allowing it to convert into pelican. Bishop takes C3, knight takes C3, and D5. He gets D5 very quickly in the game. ED5, ED5, but it's going to be an isolated pawn. Maybe it's going to be a weakness, but Arjun is prepared. Look at his time. Look at his time. He has 17 minutes. He castles, bishop G4 here. F3, because the queen, if it goes to E1, there's rook E8. With D2, this bishop looks a little ugly. So F3, bishop H5, knight E2. Knight E2 was played here. Not the best idea, but of course, still playable. Queen B6, king H1, and D4. D4 is a very nice move. This knight has no scope to come here on D4. Also, look at this square. Look at this knight which can jump to the dark squares. On the open file, it's a beautiful outpost. Knight F4, bishop G6, knight G6, H6. So right now, after this exchange, white is having a double bishop advantage and black is having double knights. So the question is absolutely, what is stronger, the bishops or the knights? F4 has been played. This diagonal right now is not at all very risky, but F4, F5 if happens, it's going to be a little bit risky for black. So he goes knight F5, and Dominguez is thinking here. He's thinking, if now he goes F5, Then maybe knight f5, bishop f5, ef5, rook f5. This is very good for black because after this exchange, this d pawn remains, rook goes to e8. Development for black, white is not so easy because this b2 pawn is under pressure. So f5 would be a very horrible move. Of course, he won't go for that. He goes for queen f3. Queen f3 here. And guys, white could think of some crazy ideas. Can you suggest some crazy ideas for white? Chess Unlocked says Arjun always tries to play such offbeat lines. Great opening preparation. Yeah, this is very interesting because he actually avoided the pelican. Shishang asks, you seem overwhelmed by the Olympiad. Yeah. 90 G4. Yes, exactly. Minakshi, Michael Tal disciple. You guys are right. The idea for white to consider is G4 and black doesn't have a light squared bishop. That's why this idea could be really possible to consider. G4 and uske baad just look at these two pawns, na? They are going to be very strong, giving all these kinds of threats. F5 especially, I would say. Will he play g4? No, I'm not sure. He goes bishop d2. Now you don't want to take on b2 because it's a blunder. Rook f b1, the queen is trapped. The pawn is on a3 and the rook defends, so this typical queen trap. So he plays knight f5 here. Nice move by Arjun. Very nice move. In fact, this g4 idea would have been strong, stopping knight f5 as well, importantly. So this move now is pretty strong. e3 is a square to look forward to. Rook comes to d8. d4 is well protected. The bishops are not able to emit the power. This f4 pawn blocks this bishop. This knight blocks this bishop. So you see the knights over here are not bad. They are advancing. In fact, they are slowly going to be advancing. Knight d5, knight e3. And the more the knights are there on the ranks, opponent's ranks, the 6th rank, the 7th rank, they are going to get further strong. That's what we know about the knights. They have to be on the advanced squares. So, I really like Arjun's position. Practically, the knights are beautiful. I'm sure white has to give his bishops. Why not bishop f5? So, here if you go bishop f5, gf5, and if you just look at the pawn structure, black has this f5 pawn, the f4 is blocked, which means that the bishop on d2 becomes worse because of that fixed pawn on f4. Also, this bishop does not have the squares. If he tries to go to some diagonal like this, of course he will be kicked away, but more than that, the e3 square is going to be available for black's pieces very freely. So this, in general, this structure itself makes this bishop bad, and that's why this knight becomes a better piece than the white's bishop. So this exchange favors black already. White cannot consider taking on f5. That is the reason. Yes. A very important point. After that, after capturing, Naman says this e4 square is also there for the knight, for black knight, and g6 is going to happen. What happened in the game? Well, is it still thinking, or am I? Yeah. He plays a4. Dominguez is gone, a4. Arjun has 15 minutes still and Dominguez is 12 minutes. 3 minutes up. That's a good advantage. a4 is a nice move by Dominguez, not touching the bishops Also trying to kick away the queen from b6, which is slightly irritating. So a4 is a nice move. The point is, if you go a5, then this bishop has some role, yeah, putting some pressure here. b5 becomes weak. You don't want to play a5, but do you even want to allow a5? Eventually maybe a6. So it's a question. Arjun is thinking it's an important call whether to play a5 or not. If what are the other ideas? Sorry, 95 would be a blunder. Very sorry for that. The other ideas: do you want to go knight e3, already attacking the rook on f1 and going on a very beautiful outpost, such a square which is protected by a pawn, also on an open file where your rook can defend, and it's a very very solid square for your knight. So if you take here with the bishop, then comes rook e3. No, you don't want the pawn to go to e3, but rook e3, the queen is in some kind of a trouble. It has to go back, and eventually you will go rook e8. So these rooks on e file would be strong. And let's not forget, at some point queen b2 would be a possible consideration, because you'll have a square to run away to. So yeah, this is a possibility. Knight e3. Arjun is thinking still. He's taking his time. Whether he'll play a5, whether he'll think of knight e3 or some other move he's gonna come up with. Let's see. Black queen to b2 is not possible because rook f b1 and the queen gets trapped. Chess Unblocked says, I have a dubious idea. Already, why you are saying it's a dubious idea? King h7 and bring the rook to h8 and start attacking with knight h5. Idea knight g3 looks dubious. So he's saying king h8 with the idea of rook h8, knight g3. काफी imaginative है, but yeah, dubious है. I agree, because black is not going to allow that. It's very simply he's going to play a5. If you go queen c6, then there is going to be takes, and he may challenge your rook on the open file already. So no time for you to do that. Just glad that you thought. Well, Arjun did not play a5. He went for a6. That's also a possible move, because after a5 he stopped white's a6 and Dominguez goes with a6. Queen gayi piche. Queen went to c7. Queen is nicely placed on this open file here, but c2 pawn का कोई टेंशन ही नहीं है. Bishop is like, मैं हूँ, no worries. Absolutely. I don't think this bishop is ever even going to consider कि भाई मैं इधर exchange करने वाला हूँ. वो उधर का उधर ही बैठे रहेगा. It's going to be there शांति से. Absolutely. Whatever is going to happen by the other pieces. So after queen c7, natural would be to challenge the rook. So rook a e1 or rook f e1 would be natural, because one second, if you go rook a e1, knight e3 would lose the pawn, right? Bishop e3, rook e3, rook e3, d3, queen e3, and you can win the a5 pawn. So this is one possibility, that you give up your d pawn, you get an a5 pawn, which is a little bit, you don't feel like giving such a beautiful pawn. So knight e3 खेलना है कि नहीं is a question. But if you don't do that, what else do you have? Bishop is Ambuja cement. Nice. Okay, so rook e1. He went for rook f e1. So knight e3 as a tempo he doesn't want. So bishop e3 forced nahi rahega, because the rook will not be attacked. So that's what he goes. Guys, very quickly, let us also have a look at Anish Giri's game. Anish is black and Sam is white here. Oh my god, it's a war. In fact, because of the opposite side castle, it was Sicilian. Very quickly, if I have to go through, it was, of course, knight off. And a5, knight e6. Oh, look at Anish. This sack, positional sack. Rook takes c3, b takes c3, knight d7. It's a pure positional sacrifice which is happening. In compensation, this pawn structure which is there, black's pieces coming, getting their what to say, coordination. Beautiful play, beautiful bravery by Anish. I'm sure it's his preparation. Queen b4. This another pawn has been sacked to get an open file. So rook d5. White is saying भाई मैं क्या करूँ इतना मटेरियल का, करूँ क्या, हो रहा है, सब खत्म हो रहा है. So he goes rook d5. This position, black is intending to go queen c6, rook a4. The queen will get trapped after queen c6, rook a4. Very nicely the queen can get trapped. कुछ तो करना ही है. He goes rook d5. Anish goes knight c5 and we are at this position. Rook a4 is the threat. Queen is not getting trapped because queen b5 hai. But e4 is also going to be weak. This is also hanging. Already Anish is having a great position. Beautiful attack. What a sacrifice by him. Brilliant. Totally brilliant. Yeah, like Sagar says, Sony move. Good reminder, Naman. Beautiful. So we are going to be watching this game. Now moving to Arjun's game to see what progress has happened after rook e1. He goes rook c8. He's gone rook c8. Still keeping pressure here. I would still say rook c8 is a slightly hard, like I would be confused where to go, but rook c8 is an open file at the end of it. So he goes this, and g3 was played by Dominguez. He goes g3. So he stops all the ideas in the future with knight h4. This diagonal is weak, but as we know that there is no light square bishop, so it's possible to do that. What can black play now? How can he, one thing which comes to my mind again and again is I want this knight to go to d5, but ये queen ने रोक के रखा है. So how can I plan knight d5? It's not very difficult. Maybe queen d7 because I keep this supported. Now the idea is knight d5. This should be a possible move to consider. Queen d7 for Arjun. He has gone knight d7, already rerouting his knight. Oh, that is why he played rook c8. So his idea is eventually he may plan to go knight c5 and also consider taking here. Who knows? So that he gets the rook on 7th rank. This is interesting for sure. This is very interesting. After all his pieces are coordinated, he decides to maneuver his knight. I like this move which Arjun has played. Harshila's why not is knight to d5 because that time it was hanging. Abhinav asked, shouldn't Indian show some advantage because of bishop pair against knight pair? Exactly, but the point is when you have a bishop pair, it is often that one of the bishop is not as good as the other bishop if the position is not completely open. And this over here, the position is not at all dead open. You can see this pawn restricts here, this bishop. These pawns are restricting the bishop in general. So one of the bishop is not at its best. The other bishop is there as explained by our chat. Someone in the chat, like an Ambuja cement, you cannot take here because this structure is good for black. And this knight versus bishop again is good for black. c2 also becomes weak. So क्या करे क्या? Bishops क्या करे क्या? Position open नहीं है. They are not able to attack any weakness. That's why it's these double knights are really good. Okay, looking at the game, b4 was played here, by Dominguez. That's nice. He's trying to create some weaknesses here, which is a very good play. Arjun goes back now with his knight on f6. Maybe now he plans to go queen d7 and all. This pawn is now a permanent backward pawn. Like imagine once b4 has been played, this pawn cannot even think of anything like c4 or c3. उसका भविष्य डिसाइड हो गया है. 10th पास नहीं होने वाला है वो. Maybe bishop c1, bishop b2 with bishop f5 follow up. That's what you're saying. Okay, very interesting idea. But do you have time for your back rank? I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure. Knight f6. Some moves are happening. Rook b1. Oh my god, and what am I doing? Knight d6 he plays. With knights, this is the whole point. You can keep maneuvering them. इधर से पीछे गए. Again provoke something. Rook e1 he challenged. And Arjun decides this important thing. He doesn't want to exchange. A very good decision by Arjun. Not exchanging. Keeping the rooks, because having the rook he finds more helpful for black. Now look at this knight which is on d6. Is it going to jump to c4? With this rook on d8, is this knight going to get to go to d5? And then the c3 square is also weakened. Let's not forget. b4 is also going to be under pressure. This king at some point is going to show that yes, I am weak. वो रहता है ना, आ बेल मुझे मार, that वाला thing. So quite interesting game. Quite interesting. How is white going to try to find play is a question. With having double bishops, he wants something more. कुछ तो और चाहिए. Rook d8. Again guys, very quickly going to Anish's game, because that also was super interesting. We left at knight c5. Bishop takes c5 was played, and that move was not at all a good move. B takes c5. Look at this b file. Where is this queen going to go? Queen c4. Bishop d7. What a move. मतलब इधर ये मर रहा है, ये इधर पिन है, कुछ भी फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है. द बिशप इज लाइक नहीं, मटेरियल नहीं चाहिए लाइफ में. मटेरियल इज नॉट द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग. शांति चाहिए. बिशप d7. ब्यूटिफुल मूव. Beautiful move. A5 was played. Rook b8. Now the job of this rook has been done. Pawn को push करवाया है. Rook b8 is played. Queen moves back and c4. Why did he go back? Because there was a strong threat. The queen was getting trapped. Bishop b5. And you see the point is, if you would have gone rook b8 earlier, it didn't matter. There was this pawn on a4. So it made sense to do it now. Such a beautiful idea. Going back with your bishop, a backward move, that too when you are attacking. I would say brilliant play by Anish. This is absolutely brilliant. Sagar would have loved this game so much. Oh my god, I can't believe it. What is missing here? C4. King b2, bishop e6 back. Amazing. कुछ भी फटाफट मार नहीं रहा है. Not taking c takes b3, c takes b3, not releasing the tension. पूरा का पूरा ही टेंशन का माहौल बना दिया है, और वो टेंशन का माहौल सस्टेन भी हो रहा है. Rook moves. Now take here c takes b3, because you are also going to get this. So material, black is going to be landing up with a piece up. Of course, white will have some pawns, but the king is going to stay weak. The king is going to stay weak. Amazing. Amazing, guys. This game is too good. Brilliant game. At the same time, pawn on c4 stops rook b5. Yes. At the same time, Arjun's game is also very good. Very, very good. Let's quickly go to that game. We've left at rook d8. And look at Dominguez. This guy is playing h4. Really a good move to, try to create play. at some point he is keeping this tap कि ये knight हिलेगा h5 आएगा, ये knight हिलेगा f5 आएगा. This is great, trying to open up the position, being ready for that. Knight c4 was played, attacking the d2 bishop. Bishop c1. You look at this bishop on c1. ये square नहीं, ये square नहीं, ये square नहीं, ये square नहीं है. ये थोड़ी ना वो bishop है जो बोल सकता है कि भाई I'm better. No, it's not that bishop. Knight d5 has been played, and you see right now with this move exactly what Dominguez was waiting. He should go h5. He should go h5 here, and it's gonna create a lot of play. This pawn is attacked. What will Arjun do here? You cannot think of taking the oops, sorry, this would be a blunder. No, once again, I'm missing something. h5. Oh my god, I should have asked this, guys. Look at this. Look at this. What a blunder g takes h5 would have been. Super blunder because of this amazing move which I thought was a blunder first. Queen d5, but black cannot take rook d5 because of, very quickly in the chat, guys, why can black not take the queen on d5? What is the idea? जल्दी बोलो, टाइम नहीं है. रक्षित, विमलेश, अभिनव, chess, no. Sankalp, Ishan, absolutely, guys. If you take here with taking this bishop, finally अंबुजा सीमेंट ओपन हो गया है, और इधर रुकी 8 के बाद ये वॉल है. द किंग कैन नॉट गो देयर. इट्स नॉट अ स्क्वेयर. इट्स ओवर. बैक रैंक मेट. कहां से कहां तक. So he played f5. Not a good idea. He played f5. He should have gone h5. Of course, Arjun would not have captured, but if he doesn't capture, what will he play? This pawn is attacked. He had to go knight b4 here, and we would have seen something like takes, and then this bishop is something you want to get rid of. नहीं चाहिए ये bishop. अभी ये bishop बोल रहा है कि बस मैं मेरी power दिखा रहा हूँ, and this is what we would have gone into. Basically, queen a5 trying to attack here. You cannot take here. gf7. It would have gone into some complications. Takes some forcing line. But anyway, at this point of time, we are at f5 position. Arjun goes knight e5. A strong move now. Knight e5. Rook takes c5 was played, because if you can go queen g2, but then knight takes d3, c takes d3, and suddenly the queen jumps in. Now you can see, all the time we were thinking that c bishop, c1 bishop, the dark squared bishop for white was never good. It was never good, and that is what has happened, will happen. And all these weaknesses, the king eventually would create a lot of problems. So white decides to give up an exchange, and queen takes e5. In any case, this is not going to be enough compensation. So Arjun is clearly winning, guys. Arjun is clearly winning. Now we are going to go quickly to Anish's game, because he was also winning very beautifully. What happened after that? Bishop takes d5, e takes d5. Finally, position gets simplified, and material is now possible to count. Where Anish is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. He's having 5 pawns, and Sam is having 2 pawns for a bishop. But the pawns are not very advanced. He will try to advance, but they are in front of his king. So when pawns are a compensation, they have to be advanced, and it's not going to be the case. So this is just technically winning for Anish. He plays here e4. Wow, nice move, because if you go queen e4, then he wants to activate the bishop, bishop f6, and then rook c8. This is pin, so you cannot go c4. Queen idhar gaya to rook c8, and if you go rook c1 here, then you will lose the pawn on a5. So Anish definitely is winning. Let's go to Arjun's game quickly. Bishop g5. Oh, Dominguez is 2 minutes. Again, that is also important. Queen e1. 2 minutes plus you have to defend this position. Not at all a possibility. F6 here. Arjun and AG both are winning. Yes. Chess unlocked. Nice. You're very alert. Good, good, good. F6. Where does this bishop go? ये bishop पूरे गेम में बेचारा है. Complete बेचारा. This bishop was not an advantage in this game. कभी भी नहीं था. पूरा का पूरा he has to go knight f4 here. और करे भी तो क्या? Maybe you can take here or maybe you can take here. But if you don't want to allow this f takes g5, better to take. And then do you even want to simplify here with knight f4, queen f4 and then queen b4? Yes, this is possible for sure. He does take on f5. Arjun takes the pawn on f5. I think that's what just something which we just checked is going to happen on the board. He played brilliantly with his knights. Very calmly, very quietly, they were, dancing on the board. Yes, as we just saw, it's happening. This simplification, and now he's going to take the pawn on b4. I see no reason to not do that. No, it's not happened. Yet he's thinking. And should I jump to Anish's game, guys? After e4, rook a4, bishop f6, queen c4 has been played. He of course does not exchange. This king is weak. Look at this queen now, eyeing on the f2 point. I think a resignation very soon should be happening. Queen e4, queen f2. That's what we will see. If he goes queen e2, then anyway queen c5 is going to come. So you cannot defend everything. Too many weaknesses in white's position. Shashank says, you are speaking so fast and continuously that I am out of breath. Lol, how do you manage to do that? Oh, I just don't like that about me, by the way, to tell you the truth. Sometimes I speak and I'm like, Amruta, stop! Because I just keep talking and talking and talking. Good. First time I'm hearing that. How do you do that? अनीश का झोल समझते हैं. Okay, he's thinking quite a lot here. Arjun, what is he thinking? Because queen b4 is definitely one move. Is there anything else that he's worried about? Maybe bishop d3, queen f5. Is it something like this he's considering? Let's say he goes bishop d3, but then you just take here. If queen e4, there is not really any mate or something. Oh, in fact, you can go queen h5 and stop queen h7. So Arjun is thinking quite a lot. Domingos is having only 1 minute, though Arjun is having 7 minutes. So time पे तो कोई tension ही नहीं है. Oh, let's look at Anish because some moves have happened here. Queen c4, queen a7, king a3. White decides to not save the f2 pawn and try to exchange the rook so that थोड़ा तो breathing space and थोड़ा तो trying to advance the a pawn. रितेश सागर भाई को सुना सुना कर इट हैज बिकम अ गुड प्रैक्टिस. अरे दीपांशु थैंक्स. He has a lot of time. Yes, I'm hoping that Arjun has not disconnected. No, not really. He plays queen b4. In fact, he has played queen b4. By the way, in this game rook f8, Anish decides to not exchange the rook. शांति से rook रख दिया है. So if a6 or something, the point is you also start with this pawn on e3. He goes queen c7 here. Queen c7. Just don't see any counterplay. After Anish will go e3. So, okay, he wants to go rook b8. Trying to give some threats in the back rank. So, if e3, rook b8 here, the only blunder is rook taking on b8, which you're not gonna do. Just one move g3, g6, and there you are saved. a6, e2, a7, e1 क्वीन. ये तो फोर्स्ड, समझो अगर खेलना है यहाँ पे फाइनल मूव खत्म हो जाएगा. क्वीन a1 चेक, किंग b4, एंड too many ways, just take here, too many ways. So yeah, but Anish plays queen e1 here. Anish plays queen e1, not the variation with e3. He threatens a mate in 1, queen a1 check. So king a4 has been played, and now simply he can capture the pawn on c3. Okay, let's go to Arjun's game because some moves have happened there. Actually, queen b4. Once again, he actually played takes, queen e3. He did not take on b4, queen e3. That's what he was thinking, guys. He played queen e3, queen f1. Nice, because he doesn't want to exchange the queens here. So queen e3 was a nice insertion, because if he goes something like queen c7, then there would be queen f2 check, and for king h1, queen f1 check, and then maybe rook e8 will come, rook e2 will come. Looks very risky. So Dominguez went queen f1, now check, and then he took on b4. Bishop e6, king f8. Black king is safe. There is nothing to worry really. Bishop b3. Arjun has 6 minutes. He goes queen d7, simply exchanging, forcing the exchange. No, not really. There was bishop e6. Now queen b5, and this is possible. This is attacked. Can you go queen h7 here? If you go queen h7, but the threat is, yeah, this is some kind of a threat. Okay, queen h7, I'll definitely try to think. Why not queen e1, queen a1? There are a lot of Harsh says Arjun's intermediate moves are the difference between him and his opponents. I think so. He's really good at them. Queen f3 has been played. He doesn't go queen h7 because Arjun had queen f1 check, king h2, queen f2 check. If king h3, maybe 1 second is. Of course, there will be ways. I have to look into it. But let's right now follow the game. What is happening? He goes queen f3, and Arjun challenges the queen again with queen c6 now. Queen f5 again, supporting the c2 pawn. But wait, is any check happening here? Queen h1, there is king g4. Can you do queen h1 check? King g4. Queen d1 check. Now king h3. Eventually d3. Yeah, this is possible to play. This is possible. Let's see what Arjun plays. That is also possible, is a very nice move. Rook d6 finally telling this bishop by to ja idhar se, and then maybe queen d7, maybe then forcing the queen exchange. Wow, that looks a little simple. That's nice. Oh, queen e2, not queen f2. That's what they were saying, people in the chat. Wins the bishop. Yes. Good observation. When queen h7, there was queen f1 check, and then queen e2, and then queen e6. Guys, well spotted. Oh, resign! Arjun has won the game. Amazing. He goes king e7, and here, wherever the bishop would move, bishop b3, Arjun has queen d7, forcing the queen exchange, and then he is simply going to be an exchange up. Black is going to lose the a5 pawn. Very well played by Arjun. Beautiful dance with his knights. This game is such a great example of double knights versus double bishops. How the double knights were more powerful than the double bishops. So amazing game by Arjun. Great preparation also. Very nice preparation, really. So well played, Arjun. Amazing, amazing. Maza aa gaya. In fact, even Dominguez played really well, trying to push his pawns, create weakness. I think there was only this one time where he could have gone h5 instead of f5 here. This was a critical point where h5 was important, but only one point in the game where Dominguez could have, got some play with h5. And what about Anish, guys? Anish, did he finish his game? Yes, Anish also finished the game. King a4, bishop c3, rook b7, e3, a6, queen a1 check, queen f1 check now. And he resigned because if you go king b6, there is bishop d4 check and you lose the pawn here. King a5 you don't lose immediately, but there is queen with a check. So this is also over. So Anish also won. I want to see if any more games are going on. Richard Rapport won. Oh, what a nice mate. Almost. Queen e8. If rook e8, then f e8. Queens and materially up. King is weak. Richard Rapport wins against Aryan Tari. Jeffrey Ziong draws with Wojtaszek in this game. Hans Niemann loses with Levon Aronian. Wei is still playing. Mamedero draws in this King Bishop versus King. So this is the only game which is going on. Wei versus Zhu Wenjun, and Zhu Wenjun is beating Wei. Wow! Oh my god. Tremendous, man. This is tremendous. Queen e3. Materially, she has 2 knights for a rook. So 2 pieces for a rook. If you count the pawns, yes, 2 knights and 1 pawn for a rook. Rook e3. But only 25 seconds. Let's still stay at this game, guys, because Zhu Wenjun is beating Wei. Is she going to be able to convert this? Because with 20 seconds, one slight error and it could be a draw. Also, there is this rook pawn. Rook pawn against knights, as we know, is a slightly risky. I'm going to show you the standings, but guys, after this game, which I believe will end in 2 minutes, 5 seconds with Wei, he goes a5, knight d5, supporting the b4. Now, how are you going to stop this pawn? Do you need to? Can you start with your pawn? b3, a6, b2. What do you do after b2? I think she should play b3. b3, come on, 14 seconds. Okay, c5. She's gone c5. This is also nice. Wait a very quickly. Let me just try to get Zhu Wenjun there. Here we have Zhu Wenjun and Wei, guys. Rook c4, knight d7. Now, if you go a6 here, maybe the knight is going to go to b6. She goes rook e4. Just take the pawn on f3. Though you can think of b3, but it goes in complications with 20 seconds. Yeah, taking is simple. a6 will happen. Then you can go rook f8, rook a8. Once you have stopped the pawn, this is defended. Then the other knight goes to b6. So everything will be then defended. Amazing. Once this knight will be on b6, you can see everything is defended. This is defended. This is defended. Except for c5. Okay, rook e6, b3. No stopping this pawn. Guys, Zhu Wenjun is playing brilliant. It's the first time we are looking at this kind of performance. I am amazed. I am very happy. Rook f8. Oh, the knights are just too strong. Like the rooks are completely defensive. ये रुक इधर देखो. This is not attacked. This is not attacked. ये नाइट से सेव्ड है. ये नाइट से सेव्ड है. कर क्या रहा है वो रुक उधर बीच में? मतलब कर क्या रहा है? Completely smashed. B2 forced, B1 forced. कैसे रोके? You can't stop. You can't stop B2. You have to go A7. अच्छा रुक C7 खेला but B2 is over. Game over. B1 queen. Takes knight B1. Rook D7. But you have another pawn. Too many pawns. Yeah, they must be exhausted. It's too late in China. Good point, D. Sandeep. Okay, if you go rook B7 here. No, sorry, it's black to play. Otherwise, exactly, rook B7 would be a problem. Now maybe you can go knight A3. C4 is happening. Rook B7. King moves. Yeah. अभी rook B8 कभी नहीं आ सकता है. Once your king is no more on the 8th rank. इसको बस अभी push करो शांति से. May go rook C7. Oh, he's resigned. Ju Wenjun has won the game. She has beaten Wei Yi, who was in fact playing really solidly in this until now in this tournament. So beating him, wow, this is a great result for Ju Wenjun. And let's look at the standings, guys. Samuel Sevian is on 17 points. Arjun is on 17, joined first. Wow, too good. After this win, he has climbed up again. Now Jeffrey on 16, Duda on 16, Mamedera on 13, Anish on 13. Oh my god, between 4th and 5th there's a 3-point difference. Ju Wenjun on number 7, totally brilliant. She's on 12 points, ahead of Rapport and Wei. Levon on 10, Nieman on 10, and Aryan, Tari, Voetazek on 7 points each. Domingo is on 5. Sam on 3. Sam is also having a very bad tournament. So this is the whole standings we are having. Arjun is playing brilliant. Tomorrow we will see what happens. Today his last game was brilliant. I think that game he definitely did not make any errors and he is now completely into the groove. So we're gonna see some solid chess tomorrow. Also, Ju Wenjun, I'm really interested to see who is going to be her next target. Let's see, guys. Arjun tomorrow will be playing in his first game. Arjun's opponent, let me just tell you. Anish will be playing Wei Yi tomorrow, and Arjun is going to be playing Duda. Arjun is going to be playing Duda. He's white. ठीक है, so we'll be seeing you all tomorrow, guys. मज़ा ही आने वाला है. Today we had a good day and I'm going to take your leave. Thank you so much for being in the chat, suggesting moves. You guys are fast. Back rank mate तो फटाफट बोल दिया. So मज़ा आ गया. Have a good day. Have a good night. All the people in US, good morning. All the people in different time zones, good afternoon, good evening, and everybody else in India. जल्दी ही मिलने वाले हैं Mumbai for Anish versus Vinith and also for Olympiad. So until then, guys, bye bye, good night, see you tomorrow.